got this. when it was big. Man, I just remember so many visions of him just taking off in the heaviest drops that you're so scared for him, and he just makes them, and then next thing you know, he's just looking all casual in the barrel, just standing straight up. I got a lot of great memories of him just taking off on some beautiful waves out there and just having a great time, just coming out smiling. That's how I remember him at Tahiti.
We can sleep on the streets, the kids are coming.
The beautiful island of Tahiti. I'm Joe Turpel. Sitting right next to me, Sean Doherty, and after a little bit of a deliberation this morning, it was pretty mutated, but there are some tow teams out there, and now we are bringing you the live tow session.
Yeah, we finally got there, mate. It's well, this morning basically it was just too raw. Like we couldn't send crew out, and it was only really like probably a half dozen waves ridden anyway, and guys were getting messed up. It's cleaned up, as you can see here now. And this is what we're facing at the moment.
Are you kidding me? That was the scariest thing I think I've ever seen in my entire life. This is probably one of the biggest tow sessions, I don't know, maybe ever. Maybe that's a big call, but maybe not. I hope you guys saw that thing. It was an absolute cavern detonating on top of the reef there. There's absolute mutants out there, but like Sean was saying, it was so crazy this morning. There were some rogue waves coming into the channel. The tower's been shaking, and the safety issues were a huge concern. Now that it looks like it's somewhat organized, we decided, hey, let's get this thing live. We want to showcase some of the best tow surfers in the entire world that have been standing by to surf this amazing swell. Look it from the channel. Wow. This is real. Oh my goodness.
Are you kidding me? And that's the one unridden. Wait till you see. We just had a quick little a sneaky peek at some stuff that's gone down in the last half hour. A card came in from one of the boats that we had a quick look through some clips. Mate.
No, look at this. Look at it on your screen here. It's speaking for itself, grinding all the way through to the reef. Everything's rumbling. Everyone's backyard is full of water with this gigantic purple blob that showed up on this Saturday that we've been talking about. Everybody's in town. There's a lot of tow teams out there trying to get themselves whipped into some. But yeah, we had a little sneak preview just a few minutes ago. Let's check out this solid one we saw earlier of Dylan Longbottom.
Yeah, well, I've had a few crew already come in and talk about this one. Look at Dill, just hanging in there, just trying to keep fins in as that thing draws off the reef. Knows he's pretty safe there now and gets blown out. Dill he's had a couple, actually, Dylan Longbottom. A couple of nuts ones.
Oh, pretty impressive. And, they talk about when you're towing in at Teahupoo on a massive swell like this, you almost can't aim yourself too far down in front of the wave. You almost are going straight because there's so much that's drawing off the reef. Dylan Longbottom, excellent execution and making it safely to the channel. There already have been some reports of casualties out there, some injuries already early this morning. Yeah, for sure, mate. The casualty list started pretty early. Romano von Bastelier already, of course, local legend here. Probably the guy who surfs at size better than anyone. First casualty. He ended up, lost big chunks out of his back, and he's kind of fine, but got a bit of a scare. And let's check out Dylan Longbottom's wave from this morning again. We'll slow it down for you. Look at that speed right there.
How's his little high line there, just flirting with death, hanging in there. Look how deep he is. He's cornering now. He's cornering, and he's got out of it.
That is some of the most impressive stuff I've seen. Look at him. Look how far down. So psyched. That adrenaline. There's only a couple of guys that know what that feels like, and Dylan's one of them there. That was actually another wave that he caught this morning, so Dylan Longbottom already a major standout in this tow session, and you can clearly see why they called the contest off today. It is not paddleable. Those things are absolute mutant bombs, and Surfline telling us today was going to be today. I talked to Sean early this morning, Sean Collins from Surfline, saying we're probably going to see this thing peak at 2 o'clock this afternoon local time. So we're still coming up on some pretty solid sets, and after 2 o'clock, it'll slowly start trimming down. And keyword slowly. We're still going to be some huge waves into the sunset tonight.
Oh, mate. What time you got now, Joey? What time? Local time?
Local time.
I've caught you on the hop
we
here.
are coming up on, let's see, I think it's right about...
it's a bit after, about 1:30.
Yeah, about 1:30 or so.
So we're almost at the predicted peak of the swell. But what it's kind of got now that it didn't have this morning, it's got a cleaner edge. You can see that the winds, there's no wind on it. You can see it's got that oily look. And this morning, it was kind of just raw and ugly, and there was just ocean eating ocean out there.
Exactly. One of the telltale signs, I guess, when you're standing on the beach is you notice how much the water is churning and surging. Every direction you look out here, even in the calmest spot, it's just sucking off the reef and making it all focus in on the lineup. Here goes Keala earlier.
Yeah, well, KK's staying with at Joel's place here. Look at this thing. Look at the line she's got. No!
Wow, that is so frightening. Keala, the first woman to ever tow surf here at Teahupoo a few years back, and she was out here early this morning on the point, and she was frothing. A lot of the skis and the boats were locked into the harbor, and she couldn't get a ski out early, and she was like, hey, I'm here, I'm ready to go, and you just saw that. She committed to a monster. And, gosh, I can't wait to hear that story when she comes in. That must have been quite a ride underwater.
Well, I got it. I spoke to her earlier on the way. We'll flash to that in a minute. But look at this thing. Look at it standing up. No takers here.
Wow.
Joe, where were you?
Yeah, that's the last place I'd ever want to be. That thing is disgusting, completely guttering out all the way onto the reef. That is one of the biggest barrels you'll ever find in the entire world, and there's only a few takers out there. Some of the craziest surfers in our world are right here in Tahiti looking to get a piece of it, trying to take turns and get yanked into it. You see some of the ski drivers right there. Vitea David on the front of that one. He's one of the best in the business. He knows the reef really well, and they're doing a great job keeping an eye on each other as well. So every time someone takes off and wipes out, there's someone that's always going to try to get in there and pull you to safety. Yeah,
I actually had a chat with KK on my way up here to the webcast house, and she was pretty cool considering what we just saw there. I'd be ready for retirement after that. But she's
still smiling, Sean.
Well, she'd blown out a strap on the board, so she was going back to fix it herself and getting back out there this afternoon.
You have to be kidding me.
Yeah, she's straight back out there. But she's not the only girl. Maya Gabera, of course, is out here as well.
I've heard she's already taken a couple spills.
Yeah, apparently she got a nasty one and may have been a little rattled by it, as you'd probably imagine out here.
Yeah, thinking about some of the big barrels we're going to see like Dylan Longbottom, but probably some wipeouts we'll never forget today. Some of the biggest tow surf we've seen at Teahupoo, and geez, quite some time. This swell that came, we're comparing it to the big swell that went to Tavarua. There was a lot of the energy actually from this swell focusing into Central America, but there's such a big chunk of it that was going to hit Tahiti. I can't imagine if this thing hit Tahiti straight on. It would we probably wouldn't be able to sit right here, Sean.
We'd be climbing the mountains right now, I reckon. But it's probably ended up being a little big. It's probably been almost undercalled, if anything, as well, because we were looking at, we thought 12-15, but instead, it's well north of 15 foot.
Ooh, here we go. You see that right there before even getting into it. Skipping and going down. We're going to pull back from the channel and look at this thing. What a beast. Blowing everything out, all the guts onto the shoulder and everybody into the channel. Even just sitting there on your surfboard, hanging one of these boats is, you're seeing one of the great wonders of the world.
Yeah.
What an opportunity, and an opportunity for these tow surfers to do what they love to do. This is that adrenaline. They're addicted to it, Sean, and they want to get as deep as they can in one of these pits, and it's pretty hard to do. Like we saw with Keala barrel, she, maybe was angled too far for the channel. She probably needed to be a little bit straighter on, almost be going straight in that pit. It'd be cool to catch up with her to get her exact read on what happened. Maybe she'll be coming into the booth later on. But welcome to this free surf tow session. We're going to be running it live, and we're going to see some pretty memorable moments.
Yeah, it's been, we just had a quick look through some of the footage from the last hour, and it's up there. I spoke to Romana this morning. Romana actually at one stage this morning got all the guys who were out there. There was only probably a half dozen tow teams, and he just said, boys, we're knocking it on the head. It's like he called it off. He called stopped everyone towing. And when he starts doing that, you know it's serious.
Well, everyone pays attention. I think, that's the main thing. When you come into a big swell like this, it's a huge concern. Your safety is a big one. And when the local guys are being very, very cautious and showing how dangerous it is out there, it's you want to just make sure that everyone's going to be safe. Everybody's in the right spot at the right time, and everyone's accounted for. We did see that big wave from Dylan Longbottom earlier as we got online here. Due to popular demand, everyone requesting it once again. Sean, let's take another look.
Yeah, we're just starting to drip feed these out. There's more of these coming, but look at this thing for Dill. Just really flirting with death, taking a high line, which, but what he's got, look at all his speed. Look how deep. That is about as deep as you could ride it at this size.
It was almost pitch black in there at one point, and you see him coming out of the cannon with so much speed, flying through the boats in the channel. Oh, what a moment for Dylan Longbottom. He's not going to forget that thing.
Well, the other thing, too, is he's got his young son, Jay, here. I think Jay's about 13.
Oh, wow.
And I reckon Jay would be out in one of those boats, and he would be absolutely psyched that the old boy came
Seeing
out of
your
that
pops flying out of that thing, and waves that you normally don't see. And for a son watching your dad, he's got to be really proud. Who knows when we'll see him in one of those dark mutants.
No, you don't see too many of those on the Central Coast of New South Wales. But, mate, it really isn't. And you can see why it's kind of cleaned up. It's starting to sort itself out. We've lost the front edge of the swell, so it's got a little more lined up. It's made sense of itself a little more. The wind's kind of backed off. It's got a bit of an oiliness to it, and who knows what we could get this afternoon, mate. We reckon we're at the peak of the swell.
Right at the bulk. So, yeah, we're just expecting to see a couple more huge ones out there. Let's take a look at one from earlier this morning.
Okay, who's below sea level. We've got to wait for him to come up. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my gosh. Spitting, unloading on him. Let's see who's coming out of this pit. Nice and composed into the channel. Nice and easy, carving around the boats there.
That's Sancho. Yeah.
Wow. Sancho.
Sanchez, yeah. And he's been out there pretty well all morning as well. So, a few of these guys had a little run at it this morning, but it was too dangerous. Like, Romana, that one, he got lit up. At that stage, Parko and Corey were out checking the surf. They saw that one, and they said they looked down over the ledge as Romana was basically standing on dry reef. He'd wiped out on the previous wave, was standing in kind of chest-deep water on the reef, and they said when they looked down, they were looking down 2 stories, and that thing it hit the closeout, hit the right-hand closeout, just gone into that death zone, and was just about to detonate in front of him. So it blew Romana's his jacket off, just rolled him across the reef. So in a lot of ways, he's lucky. All he ended up with was a ton of tiger claws.
Oh, so. Yeah, goodness for Romana to experience that. He was rushed into safety, and he's getting tended to with all the reef scars that he acquired earlier this morning when this swell was just showing its signs of how insane it was going to be. Right at the peak of it now, bringing it to you live. And thanks for joining us around the world on billabongpro.com. A pretty special treat in the middle of, a normal ASP event, not your normal everyday ASP event here at the Billabong Pro Tahiti. This day, in the waiting period, there was even a little call this morning just in case it was paddle size. But obviously, what we've seen on our stream, there is no possible way a human could paddle their way into one of these monsters.
No, there weren't many hands getting raised this morning from the guys in the event.
Yeah, I talked to Freddie P. Actually, I ran down there before they were making that decision. He's like, can you imagine if we would run some heats today? What would we actually do? I think he knew it was kind of easy to tell for a lot of them that it was going to be called off. So bringing the tow session to you, everyone around the world. Hello once again. Thanks for being on billabongpro.com. Joe Turpel sitting right next to Sean Doherty.
That's how rattled he is.
Yeah,
He's
we're
forgot
rattled.
His own name.
It's the nerves are here on the beach because we have water coming up into our backyard, and when you see a ski coming in, you're waiting for injury reports and you're waiting for glory stories, and we're going to try to keep the cam out here on a lot of the action because it's just from our view here, we can see these things blowing up. There's white water to the sky. The tower was rumbling, and it's a very good thing that they brought down the other tower before this thing came up because that thing would be long gone for sure.
Yeah, the suicide scaff would be matchsticks. The big ones actually hung in there. We saw one. You can see that bottom level there where the giant billabong poster is. We've had a wave go through that halfway up. So I don't know, what's that, 15 foot of white water going through there earlier this morning. So it's, a big thumbs up for the Tahitian ingenuity there. They've managed to keep that thing up in one of the, what potentially is the biggest swell ever here at Chopes.
Oh, definitely. They come and they set that thing up a couple of weeks in advance, predicting, maybe an absolute monster to come in. Looks like we could have someone getting yanked in right now. with a ton of speed. Sean, look at this thing.
Yeah, he's deep. Look, we've lost him below sea level. I'm trying to work out who it is. It's not Corey. Oh, he's hanging in there. He's going to come out. Where is he? He's going to come out? No, the foam ball's got him.
Not able to make it through as we are getting set up.
Yeah, we've got a guest star, coming in straight from the lineup. And, you can see the scene there live here at Chopes.
Coming to you live, and we're going to be bringing in Freddie P. He's getting all set up there. He had a pretty good experience checking out the lineup, so welcome to the booth.
Yeah, well, we're going to get Freddie to talk story here straight away. Fred, I saw you. Welcome, mate, first.
How's it going? Yeah, thanks for having me.
Good to have you here, mate. I passed you about half an hour ago, and you look like you'd been attacked by a bear. You want to tell me the story?
Yeah, it's big out there, and some of the best big wave surfers are out there doing their thing, and I just felt like, okay, I'm going to go get a piece of this. I didn't really want to, but I had my pop, sent up my tow board, my tow vest. I was ready to go. I had all my own equipment. Never towed out here before. And I figured I'd just do it on the biggest day we've ever seen.
Throw yourself straight in.
Yeah.
And how'd you go?
The hardest part was sitting out there and knowing which wave to go for, because it's these gigantic lumps that just come from the deep sea, and then you're basically holding onto the rope and you're going, all right, is this going to be it? And finally I just said, this is it. I'm going, let's go. And we went, I pulled in, and I thought it was going to be flow rider-ish where you had to be on your back foot.
Yeah.
But you really have to kind of be centered and then almost on your front foot driving down the face, because there's so much water sucking up off the reef that for me, I took too high of a line. I was rolling up the windows. And I just went over, and I saw, a couple guys hurt their knees, their ankles, and so I kicked my tow board out. I didn't want my feet stuck in there. I just got hammered. There was no one there to grab me after the wave. I got drilled by 2 more waves, rolled all over the reef. It was a humbling experience.
Well, Freddie, check this out. This is Dylan Longbottom earlier this morning. What do you think about this monster?
That thing is gigantic. See how much water is just sucking up off the face? He's almost angling down. Wow, look at that thing. He's angling toward the beach there, and he's... Wow, that was a very big wave. I wasn't out there for that one. I didn't get to see that, but that was a huge wave. He made that look easy.
So what was the end result of yours, mate? Because I saw your boardies look shredded.
Yeah.
Did you lose some skin?
I lost a bunch of skin. I just, I was looking for the dock when I got to the beach. But for the most part, I'm pretty good. I just wanted one. That was my goal. I just wanted to get one. I wanted to get out there. I wanted to experience it. And then I just wanted to get out of the way. Let those guys, like Makua and Dylan, let them do their thing. But I just knew, I'm like, hey, I'm here. Obviously, I'm here to surf an event and try and win the event. But I figured I want one. I want to see how it goes. Yeah, it's off the list and it's gone.
A lot of people are worried about they've got a heat coming up, so they might try to save themselves, sit out this tow session. But it's great to see some of these tow surfers out here. Kayla Kennelly, one of the craziest women surfers, probably the first ever surf Chopes or tow into Chopes. This was her earlier this morning wipeout. Let's see, Freddie, take this thing.
I don't even want to say anything, just to watch that.
Oh, yeah. My goodness.
Wow.
And this is where it went wrong.
Oh. See how it was sucking her up the face?
Yeah.
So you have to be an experienced surfer out here to know that, because you don't really get that kind of feeling with an 8 to 10 to 12-foot wave out at Chopo or out at Pipeline. It's a whole different kind of feeling. It's almost a different way of surfing.
And live action here. Do you know this is Freddie?
I think that's Dylan Longbottom.
Yeah, it looks like Dill again, I think. He's making a glutton of himself out there. He's had a bunch of them so far today. Yep, that's definitely Dill kicking out amongst the boats in the channel.
And Freddie, have you ever seen it this size before?
I've never seen it this big, no. I've only been here a few times where guys were towing, and it is one of the most amazing sights I've ever seen. You can feel the power of the ocean, and you feel helpless out there on a jet ski or even on a boat, and you know that there's powers out there that are creating this that are way greater than yourself.
Wow.
And I was talking to Luke Egan about it. I'm like, is there really any other sport that's as heavy and as death-defying as this? Because these guys are basically putting their life on the line every wave they catch. A big football hit, I mean, what else? A big footy hit,
car crash.
It's basically like a train wreck.
Yeah,
you know. But I mean, those guys.
Thinking about sports, right? What can really compare to it? There's nothing in the whole world.
I don't see anything that compares to it. Really, surfing is at this level
on a day like this.
Yes, on a day like this is some of the heaviest sport performances I've ever personally witnessed. I mean, bull riding as well. I can't think of one sport that's heavier than what I saw today or what we're seeing now live.
Yep. This is live action right out the back at Teahupoo. Day called off today for this tow session, bringing it to you live. Some of the best tow teams in the world showing up a couple of days, anticipating what might happen out there. Freddie P got a look at it this morning, got yanked into one. Maybe you can kind of tell the difference of people getting towed into a wave like Teahupoo compared to a wave like Mavericks or Toto Santos. Huge difference, right?
Well, I can tell you that because, personally, I'm not one of those big wave tow guys that are chasing swells that Surfline's predicting. I'm more of, just the contest guy. I'll drop in at, 8 to 10, 12, 15-foot pipeline, huck myself over the ledge, out at pipe, out at here. I surf Waimea. But I think this is a whole nother level of surfing. It's almost a team sport because your jet ski driver has to be in tune with the spot and the waves as much as you are, and you almost have to be thinking the same thing while you're letting your guy go on one of these mutants.
Well, there's Makua. There's your boy.
Makua Rothman just flew in here yesterday. I mean, a lot of these guys just flew in, and I know a few of them got in this morning, and they're just basically out there. This is what they do. This is what they get paid for, and they're definitely earning their check today.
They can have it.
And for me, it's a pleasure watching them do what they do, because sometimes when you see tow surfing, you kind of go, oh, that's easy, you're getting towed into it. But actually being out there, feeling the force of nature and what these guys are pulling into,
it's humbling.
It's humbling. And I got completely smashed on my wave. And it was probably half the size of, some of the ones that these guys are getting. And I can't imagine just the turbulence after you fall on one of those big sets.
Did you come in across the reef? Did you get lagooned or?
I got lagooned. No one picked me up.
Okay. Hey, I'm here.
Yeah,
guys.
You need to understand. These skis are basically brand new, a couple years old. I was on the oldest ski.
The old banger.
I'm on the old banger. They call it the Turtle. It's Biff ski. It's like black and purple.
Who's driving?
It looks like Kenny Powers skiing. That's basically what it is.
Who got you in?
Biff got me in, and he actually got me psyched. He got me comfortable, and that's why I didn't let go of his rope. I knew I could have grabbed Strider's or one of the quickie guys' skis, but I'm like, nah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it with the old bore boat and just go for it. I had new equipment, but I had the old ski, and so it was a lot of fun. And
you're here to tell the tale anyway.
Yeah, I'm still around, and it's an experience that I could live without doing again.
Well, Freddie, thinking about a tow board, what's a tow surfboard like compared to a normal board?
Usually they're a lot shorter. My board is a 5.8. I know guys are riding up to 5.10s. Probably nothing much over a 5.10. Probably as short as maybe a 5.4 or a 5.2. They're a lot heavier. They're a lot thinner. They pretty much remind you of maybe like a really short snowboard in a way, and it's basically just to blade you through a big section with so much water moving. You don't want to have that kind of flotation because the water is already creating that flotation for you.
As we see another one coming up on your screen from earlier today. Look at this thing. This is Dylan Longbottom once again. Check this thing out, Freddie.
Wow, that is dangerously beautiful right there. I mean, have you ever seen anything like that?
Wow. That is the best dismount we've seen. Completely cartwheeled, head over heels, with so much speed, got free of the tow board. So you're strapped in at that moment with all that force. You end up losing your board, and Longbottom, a couple of rad somersaults out the back. Definitely the best kick out we've seen throughout the event.
Yeah. And seeing that clip, you saw those people on the boats and the skis, and there's guys out there just floating on their surfboards and boogie boards. Anything that floats out there, you have the best seat in the house, aside from watching the live webcast. Because they don't get the replays that we do. We get slow-mo replays. We get to check it out, and it's there for you guys at home as well. So this is something without the internet and Surfline and these surfers being able to be at the right place at the right time when these swells hit, we maybe wouldn't be able to see this kind of surf. It would go unknown.
It's so true. Yes. Getting the updates on this swell from a couple of weeks back, people can be that prepared and wow.
Oh,
look at that.
Stop it. Who is this? Look, just
wow.
Whoa, it's Dino.
That's Dino.
It's Dino. Look, he's just hanging in there.
Are you kidding me? Did he make that thing?
No, that was from earlier today.
Yeah.
I was out there. That was right before I got my wave. Yeah, he rolled his ankle. It's completely shot from what I hear. And that I don't know if that was his first wave, but it's that quick. It's that crazy out there that it could end your day in one wave.
That thing was a tank.
It didn't even look like his rail was in the board or anything.
He was sliding down on his butt.
That board was just trying to get out from under him there. He had to fight it the whole time. Okay, we're just going to have a quick look at one we just saw a second ago. This is a shot from the boat. You can see it starting to bottom out. It's on a beautiful wave. You can see how glassy it is out there at the moment. And it's a little hard for us to pick. There's quite a bit of sea haze around, as you'd imagine, with the swell this big. But Freddie, plenty of the boys in the contest out there, I noticed.
Yeah, everyone's out there. I think a lot of the boys and me including, we just want to be out there and we want to see what's going on. I know that a lot of us on tour don't have tow gear.
Luckily today.
Well, that's why I was unfortunate. I actually brought my tow gear.
Yeah, you dug your own grave. You bought it here.
Yeah.
You had no choice.
I did. But I think, if push came to shove, I know I'm staying with Corey Lopez and Dusty Payne, and unfortunately Dusty's hurt, but he wants a piece of it. I know Corey always wants a piece of it. And, I'm sure if you, and I spoke to Owen Wright as well. I'm like, hey, Owen, if you really want it, I have a board. It's got Goofy Foot straps.
And I've got a ski.
Yeah, I got everything you need, But I think a lot of the guys are kind of focusing on the event. It's still going on, we still have a job to do, and these guys are out there doing their job, the big wave tow guys. So I think a lot of the pro guys are keeping that in mind. But there's no shame in not grabbing the rope and letting
today.
Go. There's no shame at all.
Talk to me, mate. I spoke to Joel. When you guys checked the surf this morning out on the ski, did you see Romana's one where he got dry docked?
Yeah.
Apparently, Joel was white telling me about it. Apparently, it was pretty horrific.
It was, and we actually saw the Brazilian guy before that who completely blew out his knee get his wave as well. And it's a funny feeling watching these waves, especially with a guy like Romana who you know and love and who surfs it really well.
Yeah.
But this morning it was really low tide. It was drawing so hard off the bottom, and he does what he does, and he was out of the barrel. But I think what got him was that right that comes at you. As we got one on screen here.
Whoa!
I think that's Dingo again, a replay.
Look.
Wow, that's another one. Is that live action there?
This is from just a little bit earlier, and he just seeing if he made it out of that thing, but looks like. He had a little bit more control on that last wave, but you can tell how big it is. Can you even put a number on it, Freddie? What do you think the biggest wave that's come in today?
I've been hearing 30 foot being thrown around.
No, I heard that too.
Yeah, and I wouldn't doubt if it's a touch bigger than that as well. I mean, how do you put it's so underneath. It's coming from the bottom of the ocean that you can't really put a size on it because it's under sea level.
Yeah. Yeah, where do you measure it from?
Yeah, and I'd like to know how far out that lip is throwing as well.
Yeah, there are some absolute tanks. But you were talking about the difference this morning, mate. It was a lot wilder when you guys went out for that early morning check.
Yeah, it was a lot wilder. And Parco and myself and Corey Lopez, we did see Romana's wave. And, with those waves that they were catching this morning, you were basically fearing for their lives. It was like watching a train wreck and seeing the people inside and going, oh my God, we hope he's okay. Yeah. And then when you don't see them come right back out, that's when you get a little worried. Romana's ski driver actually flipped his ski as well.
Oh, really?
Yep. So Strider had to go in, help them, grab them. It was a full ordeal. Corey and I almost jumped out the ski so Parco could drive in and help them out as well. But it kind of looked like by that time they had it all under control. And it was just, it's gladiator style out there. This is the Coliseum, and carnage goes down. And fortunately, Romana's going to be okay. This guy's deep.
Backdoored it. Yeah, there's some sweet little nuggets, though, still, like amongst the bombs. that one, you say a little one. It's like 8-10 footer.
Yeah, I think that was like 12 foot. But there are, there's a few out there that these guys aren't even really looking at because this is like a triple XL day. Someone's going to win something today.
Yeah.
Whether it's worst wipeout or best barrel or biggest wave ridden, this is definitely a day where someone's going to win 50 grand or something crazy like that.
Yeah, well, there you see the scene looking out to sea. Our big swells finally got here. And, Joey, can you just help me here, mate? What did the forecast swell end up being in terms of a period?
Well, yeah,
and then it was a 20-second period in this swell?
Oh, yeah, the first signs we were going to see yesterday was like 18 to 20-second intervals, so it was pretty maxed out. Looking at the numbers here sent through us from Surfline, we had, the long period swells like that, so you're going to see really long lulls like we're seeing live. There's some huge sets, obviously, that we've been showing you on the replay, but they're a little bit few and far between because the intervals are so big when you get a huge swell like this. So Kevin Wallace at Surfline was showing numbers like 22-second intervals for a swell like this.
It's come from a long way away. It's come from New Zealand. The interested, Freddie, what's the taxi queue like out there? Because there's quite a few teams circling around waiting. Who's at the front of the queue? Who's picking off the big ones?
You know what? I don't know. I'm pretty new to the tow surfing thing out here at Teahupoo. It seems like it was fairly organized. It was organized chaos. In a way. There's not a tennis skis out there like you'd see at Jaws.
Okay.
But it's kind of basically like whoever's in position. As we see, maybe a bit too deep, kicked out of that one.
Yeah, hits the eject button there.
That actually was a pretty good one.
That stayed open.
But no shame in kicking out there.
He's out there, we're not.
Yeah, we're like critiquing, he maybe should have, he probably could have got the score there.
It's pretty easy from in here. There's the angle from the boat. Look at this thing just bowling out. It's a big one. Just a couple little S-turns there. Is that Dylan again?
I don't know.
Same color board.
Yeah, I think it was Dylan.
Yeah, it could be his tow partner, though, because I know they switch off. I think, there's only so many waves you want out there in a row. So I think these guys will, they'll switch off with their tow partner every other wave or every 2 waves. Yeah,
well, Dylan's been out there, I think, with Laurie Towner as well. Laurie's had a couple of smokers as well this morning. So, it's pretty interesting crew out there, actually. There's Dylan and Laurie. Dingo was out there, of course. Kobe Avenant's here. So I think it was Kobe that whipped Dino into the one he did his ankle on. Here's a replay of the last one. Rode this really well.
Look at
Actually looked in control all the way.
Well, these guys do make it look easy. That might be Laurie, actually. Look like a taller bloke.
Let's take a look from the tower to see this approach. Nice speed out in front and had control the entire time, which is pretty incredible. Seeing how much water is surging off the reef right there. It is pulling you up. It's such a rapid pace. Like Freddie, you were saying earlier, you almost have to go straight at some points. Look at this kick out right here as he gets out of that beast. Now look at that back of the wave. At Teahupoo, that's the big phenomenon. The backs of these things are just going so square that you don't even have much of a back.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there is no back. That's why if you ever have been to Teahupoo and you actually need to duck dive, let's say on a smaller day like an 8-foot wave, you look up and you're literally 25 feet underwater.
Yeah.
Usually you duck dive and you're going through the wave, but you're actually duck diving into the ocean, and then you look up and you're like, wow, I'm kind of deep right now.
I'm going to get the bends down here.
Yeah, you could.
It's we've seen these dismounts here as well, as we just saw in that replay. But of course, the reason those guys get out of there so quickly is the fact that thing closes out pretty well straight away. There's the scene back, not far from where we are. That's the point, or that's what was the point. We've watched it just to the right of screen there. Half of that's been washed away today. There's so much water coming into the lagoon and ripping out through that there's a tiny little channel that goes out into the main pass, and there's so much water being ripping out through there. It's kind of taken the end off the point, even. Yeah, there is no point. It's a cobblestone point, and now it's just a complete sandbar. There used to be cobblestones all along there. And then there's also, you usually have about, would you say 15 feet of beach before the beach homes, they have kind of a seawall, and now that basically the water's right up to their seawall. Yeah, that's gone as well. Well, look, we've had waves into the backyard. Most of the houses where we are here have all had waves up into the backyard.
Oh, and our staircase was gone, I think, after that first set came in. So that washed out really quickly. And
we saw a fridge. Myself and Reef, when they were taking me in, I'm like, after my wave, I'm like, hey, guys, can you take me in, clean up my cuts a little bit? And we saw a fridge on our way in floating out.
Who knows where that came from? You don't want to leave anything on your front lawn right now in Tahiti. Everyone bringing their boats in, out of the lineup, because they would be getting so rattled by some of the energy coming off this reef just out the way. I mean, it's pretty far away. It's a few hundred yards off the point, but look at waves like this. That's sending that momentum doesn't stop. It comes all the way in, surges through, and, just tie down like little kids and the dogs running around too.
Yeah, that's the point.
They're not safe.
Yeah, that's the point there. You can just see in the background. That's where all the skis and boats get launched for the competition. Speaking of boats, mate, don't tell me the Femnu was in the water overnight.
No, actually, and I almost forgot about it. I was getting my toe stuff together last night, and then I went over to Parco's to have a few beer and pizza with the boys and just kind of contemplate what's going to happen. And they're like, hey, did you take your ski out? And I'm like, or not my ski, but did you take the Femnu out? And I'm like, no, I wasn't. Was I supposed to? And they're like, yeah, you better take that thing out or it's going to be like in Morea tomorrow. So we had a few more beers and I'm like, all right, boys, can you come help me take it out? And we got it out of the water there. And when we got there, usually there's about 5, 6 skis and boats parked where my boat is, and it was like a ghost town.
Yours was the only one.
Yeah, it was like looking at a Walmart parking lot that was empty. You never see it.
Everyone had run for the hills already.
Yeah, so I was pretty much the last guy to bring my boat up, and felt like kind of a kook. But,
but at least it's in one piece.
Because I've never seen it this big, and I'm like, dude, do I really have this? Is because it's kind of an outer reef. The swell has to travel so far. Through here into the lagoon and past the scaffolding. I mean, I'm surprised the scaffolding's still there, and it has to travel so far to get to where the boats are. But you can see it in some of the shots that they're showing that there's just a rip current. There's so much water moving out here that Tahiti's just getting hammered with swell. And I wonder, is this the biggest swell to ever hit Tahiti? It's got to be top 5. Do we know? Do we have that stat?
Well, Romano reckons it was the biggest he's ever seen here, and I'd kind of take his word on it. I reckon that's probably true. He's, of course, surfed at every big swell for the past, probably 15 years, Romano von Bastelia. And if he says it's probably the biggest he's seen, I'll take his word for it, for sure.
I think that's a good one to mark, too. Yeah, we'll do some research just to check with Sean Collins. I know he's got research from all the different swells that's been hitting this place over the years, so that'll be good to look at. But absolutely massive. They were really comparing it to that Tavarua swell that hit there recently, seeing the size of the seas, 60-foot seas passing New Zealand as this swell was really aiming towards Central America. But one of the cool features that's happened during this event, besides this epic swell, is the Phantom camera that's been brought into the picture. It shoots 1,000 frames per second, and we left everyone with that highlight to watch yesterday. We're going to get that for you so everybody could see that. It's going to be pretty special to see because it just slows everything down. The wipeouts look insane. I think it's happening for the first time ever at Teahupoo.
Yeah, we saw some of the heats shot with it yesterday. It's epic. Some of yesterday's barrels shot with the Phantom camera at 1,000 frames a second were epic. There's our tower still standing. It's survived the big day here. We're going to have a guy who's not here, obviously, sadly, a guy who would have loved a day like this is Andy Irons. Here's a little tribute piece to him.
Yeah, he was just right at home there, same as Bruce. When it got big and gnarly, they just stood out, like they were just fearless. And growing up on Kauai, he surfed those waves all the time. So he was just so comfortable, and he's just such a legend and a good bloke.
We can sleep on the streets, but kids are coming.
Welcome back, everybody. Sending you the Tow Session live. I'm Joe Turpel. Sitting next to me, World Tour standout Freddie Pataccia and Sean Doherty. Freddie P. had to go this morning, even though he does have a heat, maybe even going tomorrow. Had a pretty interesting experience, and we thank you for hanging out with us for the last few minutes to talk us through.
Yeah, no problem. It's been fun. I'm going to try to jump on a ski and just get out there and just get amongst it, and just feel that power again. Because, we might not see this again in a long time. So it's so exciting to be out there, and it's exciting to be able to show it to the world as well, and just to showcase what these guys are doing now. As we see,
Whoa.
I don't know who that is, but he's on a big one.
Yeah, look, just hanging in there, high line, and you can see just or trying to hang on. I think he's got out of it pretty well. Look at him just getting skimmed. He's going, oh no!
Wow, that just looks like whitewater rapids to the inside, turbulence going everywhere, and we just got a little bit of the ski heading there. I think Dino Andino is on that Nike ski out there, and we saw that explode onto the shoulder, but almost coming out, but getting ragdolled on the inside. That was live right out at Teahupoo. Freddie, are you sure you're going back out there?
I don't know if I'm going to go back there and grab another one, but I want to go back out there and just see this from one of the boats or one of the skis. I mean, that is a 20 plus wave.
I really hope this guy's got over the shoulder of this. You can see him blown out there. Kind of comes off a bit low. He can't get any elevation. It's kind of got hold of him. We've lost him there. And there's his board. His board's over. Really hoping he's all right, because he ended up in a pretty bad spot.
Let's take another view from the channel here, and now setting up this section here. You see that thing just going upside down and inside out, and there's a ski right here. Let's see if he can make it out here. It starts unloading on him, and it just explodes to the inside. Here's Dino Andino on the ski, just barely escaping it. That's a pretty scary situation for the ski right there, right, Fred? Or you think he was pretty in control?
I think he was pretty in control. Where these guys sit, you're so close to danger yet so far away from it that, you can basically be right there and feel pretty comfortable that you're going to be okay. But I mean, I think that spit is what helped shove that surfer off his board. And I mean, that's so much water all at once, just kind of pushing and just focusing on you. That man, that was a great ride.
Hey, quickly, mate, before we lose you. Nick Fanning, Fred Patashi, next heat. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. He's a very tough competitor, but this is a spot where I feel most confident at, and I think it's going to be a great heat. I think we're going to get some really good surf in the next few days. Maybe not tomorrow. I think it could be another toe sesh. It could be a little bit more tolerable toe sesh, but the following days, what is that? Tuesday. Monday, Tuesday,
yeah.
Even Wednesday is probably going to be really fun. So I'm really looking forward to it. And I think we're going to get good waves. So I'm really just looking forward to getting barreled with another friend out. And but obviously, I'm gonna smoke a little bit.
Just quietly.
I know, just quietly.
Well,
no worries. Hey, well done, mate. Thanks for dropping by, Fred.
All right, guys, no problem. Thanks for having me. Have a good one.
Right on, Freddie.
Good luck
Enjoy
in
it
your
out
afternoon.
there. And maybe, I know Dusty Payne hobbled off, but if he is close by, it'd be cool to get an update with his knee injury or the stitches that he got. So we know he has that big heat with Michel Perez. We'll be getting caught up with a couple other the boys, but Freddie P stepping out and sharing us that experience out at Teahupoo right now, Sean.
Yep, sure. Well, there it is. We've seen the live shot looking out. There are still some absolute tanks out there. We think the peak of the swell may have been and gone. We're not quite sure. We haven't really seen a really macking set for quite a while. So, it might end up being a classic afternoon, because what's happening is the conditions are actually getting better.
Oh, definitely. Peaking right now. We're getting the bulk of this monster that we've been counting in for about, a week and a half ago when we saw it coming on the charts. And now it's here. A couple of the craziest people in the world are trying to get super shacked, and guys like Freddie sitting in the channel, he got a taste of one earlier with the channel. They're taking in probably some of the best part of the energy, getting blown at him. We saw Dino Andino on the ski getting blown at by that spit, and he probably wanted to get as close as he could just to get a piece of that energy, that pure raw energy that this ocean is capable of. Always keeping you on your toes. The power of the ocean, especially here at Teahupoo, is second to none.
Yeah, and we've seen it in all its glory today. It's been a pretty radical old day. Woke up this morning, of course, and it was basically just a whitewater horizon. The whole thing. There's one little hole, one little gap in it, which is where the pass comes out, and the rest of it was white as far as we could see. And
yeah, exactly. Let's go to another replay. This started happening earlier, and look at this. This is the wave we just watched. Keeping that line in the wave. Look how much water is just surging off the reef. That's actually a scientific term, surging off the reef, blown onto the ski. That's Dino Andino former tour standout, just taking people out into the lineup. Here we go, live action. A ski team right there thinking about it, but they know, hey, if we don't like the way a wave looks, we're not going to get a part of it. Look at that beast. It never gets old, Sean. Seeing all these waves just explode, going inside out. Look at the foam ball going onto the open face.
Yeah, watch. That's the closeout right there. When that happens, you do not want to be there. That's pretty well where every kind of really dangerous situation at Chopes has kind of happened, has been right there. Now, when that wave closes out.
Well, you think about, whoa, look at this thing. Unload. There's Dino again, passing by another ski team. Sean Doherty's wave going unridden right there. And I know you have 2 6.2s with you, Sean.
Yeah, I'm going to strap one to each feet. Get out there later on for the Commentators' Cup.
Oh, wow.
But it's there's actually a huge scene out in the channel. Pretty well the whole field from the event, all the boys are paddled out. They're sitting in the channel watching this. They've been watching it all day. A couple have kind of contemplated having a little look at it. Freddie had a go. I know Joel, like Parker was talking about it. Been talking about it all morning. I'm not sure whether he's actually got one or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, but yeah, he has taken a couple of glances at it. They were out there early this morning when it was pretty mutated and hard to figure out. Shortly after, Raimana was on the reef and coming in to get dealt with, but that's what was happening this morning. It seems a little bit more orderly, but that's how good these guys are. Dylan Longbottom making some sense out of it out here as we give you another view from the channel. There are some mid-rangers coming through. The swell will be tapering off into tonight, so we could be seeing heats maybe as early as tomorrow. Freddie talking about that heat with Mick Fanning. There's some huge ones in the draw, and probably a wise decision for these guys not to get hurt. Before the swell maxed out like this, Dusty Payne did get hurt. We talked about that. We just saw him hobble by, and Freddie P saying before Dusty went out, he's like, well, Dusty's probably actually getting on a flight home tonight, and he's not going to be able to surf.
No. And there's probably the way Dusty's looking at the moment, from what we're hearing, he'd probably be lucky to surf New York. He did a really good job on that knee. So there was 14 stitches in the knee, but the thing is his knee actually, all his weight went down onto the knee, into the reef. So there's probably some bone bruising there. And he's, he might be in a bit of trouble for New York as well, which is a real shame. And
just to touch on real quick, potentially Michelle Perez and Dusty, we're going to go last night. The thing was we ran out of time in the day to run that heat. We did have a rain delay. Michelle was really excited and ready to go, but obviously in Dusty's condition he probably would have had to withdraw anyway. But the time schedule here, you have to get the judges off the tower and get everyone to safety, especially when a big swell's on the way. But you don't want to be pulling the judges off the tower at dark. Make sure everyone's in there. So that heat, we ran out of time, but Michelle looking like he might be having a bye into that fourth round.
He'll get a walkthrough straight in.
Hopefully Dusty, we wish him a speedy recovery.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Well, you can see things just starting to look like they're mellowing out. You touched on the fact that we're probably over the peak of the swell. The original swell forecast was telling us 12-15 for today, which I reckon it's probably gone. You can add a few to that number. I think it's probably gone closer to kind of 18-20.
Oh, I think even Freddie throwing out the number 30 when we're down here, and that's what the vibe's like out there. Those guys taking it on firsthand, throwing out some huge numbers, probably one of the bigger swells we've seen in Tahiti for a long time. We're going to look through all these stats of these forecasts, and maybe we could actually make that call. Raimana kind of confirming, hey, this is one of the biggest ones he's ever seen here.
Yeah, totally. And the thing is, the original forecast told us that tomorrow was looking probably, 10-ish. So, we don't know whether that's going to now become a little bigger, because we were really banking on getting some heats run tomorrow.
Oh, we
being
sure
Sunday
were.
Here.
Well, last year's champ of this event, Andy Irons, won this thing, and he's one of the heaviest chargers to ever surf this wave. Check out this piece, tribute to AI.
He sat deeper than everyone. He rode the wave different than everyone else did, and he really just, rivaled anyone that got a good one. You'd be like, oh, I got a mental one, and then you turn around and he's just on a bigger and better one, and he's deeper than you are, and he's just making it look so easy.
We can sleep on the streets, but kids are coming.
Andy Irons is forever in our hearts, our forever champion, and he will always be the best to ever surf this wave. There will be a special Andy Irons award for the heaviest charger of the event, and Sean, so far, I don't know, word on the street, Jeremy Flores could be the front runner for that. He had some of the biggest bombs in his heat, and he did not back down. We've got a couple of the guys on the tour in the water right now. CJ Hobgood looked like Julian Wilson right ahead of him there. They want to feel a piece of this energy. The thing is, with these guys and how much they love just going for it and getting that thrill off the crowd, it's pretty easy to get tempted, probably for them, to, hey, if some guy offers, I'll yank you into one, they're probably going to, be like, all right, well, maybe just one real quick. They got to remember, they have a heat tomorrow, Sean.
Throw a brother a rope.
Yeah.
They might actually, towards, once it kind of gets on, if this swell does back off a little bit, I wouldn't be surprised because, guys like Jules who are out of the event, they're probably with not a great deal to lose, might end up finding themselves on the end of a rope before the end of the day.
As we see the turbulence there, that's what happens when you have a huge swell. Every single part of this place is just rough rapids running through this whole area. It's usually sheet glass on a normal day through this inside section here, but you can see so much energy pulling off the reef. A couple of skis sitting way out the back. We're talking about this long period swell. We're seeing a lot of long lulls, but we've got plenty of sets coming, and we'll continue to show them the replays throughout this tow session. Pretty special moment in the middle of the Billabong Pro waiting period.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. A real little diamond in the rough here. We saw this day coming, and it hasn't disappointed us. Of course, we do have out in the channel the Phantom camera working today, which we're hopefully going to get some stuff off later on. It was busy yesterday capturing some stuff, and it captured Adriano de Souza. This wipeout, one of the worst wipeouts of the day. And, it starts off, Joey, all looking good here for Adriano. Things went south pretty quick, though.
It sure did. Just 1,000 frames per second. Slows down every bit of this tremendous ride. He has the rail. He is seeing something amazing right there. But, something's yet to come. He hasn't realized yet that he is about to spin out and get ragdolled on the face of this thing. Right there, he's going Mach 10. Look at him let go of the rail here, Sean. This is where it went wrong.
Yeah, he's taking a really low line on that, and then as this thing's hollowed out, he's really far on the nose of his board, and he is biting the dust here. This is where it gets really kind of weird. Watch the skim. There's the first one. First roll over. So he's at this stage, he's trying not to penetrate. He doesn't want to penetrate. He's trying to get to the bottom of the wave so he doesn't go up and over. So second one, he's just about rolling there, but now all of a sudden,
looks like he's on a slip and slide, and now live action, letting go of the rope and pulling into this beast right out in front of us. Where did he go, Sean?
There he is. Yeah, we've lost him in the haze, but he has kicked out and ridden it pretty well.
A speedy one there. Gets a couple of shots from the channel, and he survived one. That just happened right out the back here at Teahupoo. That swell definitely still around. Some of the beasts, though, from earlier, Dylan Longbottom getting a massive one early on. Keala Kennelly, a pretty tough wipeout. She was okay, though. She just had to fix her tow board. Sean, you saw her run up on the beach, and she's probably so excited to get right back out there to really continue at the bulk of this swell.
Yeah, no, I chatted to KK last night, and she was pretty psyched on the whole deal. And even that wipeout that you guys saw earlier on didn't dampen her enthusiasm too much. She was keen to get back out there and get another one this afternoon. Of course, KK, along with a whole heap of crew, have just come in. The flight the previous night was packed full of tow guys and serious swell chasers. We've already mentioned there's Makua here. Kamala Alexander's been here the whole time pretty well. But you've got, Dean Morrison, Kobe came in, Laurie Towner came in. There's a whole bunch of crew. Keala, Mo Gabera.
Well, thinking about the early days of tow surfing, you kind of think about, let's hold that thought because we've got an amazing replay on the screen here. This is from earlier today. Look at that pump to get right out in front.
That looks like Laurie Towner, I reckon, just by the big bird. Look at him hanging in there. He's ridden that thing perfectly. There he is, and kicking out. Really trademark style. He's got those big wings on him. And Loza, apparently he got a couple of smokers earlier on this morning. Now, here's a guy who's spent, I had a chat with Laurie the day before yesterday about this. He's whenever there's a swell here, he's onto it. He's been a regular here for probably 4 or 5 years and kind of really put the hours in the lineup here. And you kind of saw that with that wave there. You should not look that composed on a wave like that, Joe.
Doesn't seem like he ever misses a swell out here in Tahiti. And I was really impressed with his segment in Blow Up, the new movie that Billabong came up with. It's actually free for download. Victor Pakpor, just a genius young director coming from Laguna Beach, put that one together. But Laurie Towner, one of my favorite segments, and obviously the guy can get blown out of some scary pits, but he's an outstanding surfer overall. Just 1 foot to 30.
Yeah, well, he was one of the top juniors back home, when he was growing up on the junior series. A great competitive surfer. Kind of just drifted out and figured that to himself he'd rather just go and get some good waves instead.
What a nice route. I mean, not everyone can do that. There's a few guys that make it work. You've got to be a special surfer to make it happen. Laurie Towner, Dave Rostovich, which I think he is here.
Yeah, Rasta's here. Yep.
Rasta's here. He's making it happen. Free surfing, has a pretty cool schedule, as we see. Looks
Poto.
like Matea David again. Poto.
Yep. Poto with a bit of a mean-looking haircut there. That's Poto Jr. It's Poto.
Poto. That is an interesting one there.
Yeah, of course. Well, you look back, to a guy who pioneered this place, basically Poto. I remember we ran Poto on the cover at tracks back in 2002 on a wave. It almost was a wave kind of on par with a set wave in terms of size that we saw today. And, he's been doing that. He's been doing it for like 15 years. Who knows how long he's been here doing that for.
I actually called Poto back when he took that wave with Laurie Towner, when Poto did the stand-up paddle on the shoulder of that horrific monster. Laurie Towner was getting whipped in up the point, and Poto was like, hey, everyone was screaming in the channel. I thought they were screaming for me. Like, I got the wave of the day, and Laurie Towner was behind him in that sequence. But Poto also said, hey, Laurie, you might want to try to maybe paddle into one of these things. He tries to get the guys psyched and wants to see him kind of push themselves, and he inspired Laurie to take off on a couple under paddle power. And you see waves like this, it is pretty much impossible on a day like today to stroke into one, as we see a few guys sitting way out the back. You see all those skis anticipating many more monsters to come. We know this swell isn't going anywhere anytime soon. We're talking about the peak, the bulk of it right now, but it's slowly trimming. So we're probably going to see some of the biggest sets even for another hour or so. This kind of range, this is the time we wanted to bring it to you live, and it's still all the tow teams are out there and ready to go. It's so, Sean, hey, we're not going anywhere. This thing's just getting started.
Yeah, for sure, mate. Just starting to get interesting. They're down to about 5 crews out there at the moment. I'd say a couple of them are probably coming to have lunch, get ready for the afternoon session, because we're expecting this swell to be here all afternoon. And the way the conditions have improved in the last few hours, it could get really, really clean. Actually, a bit of sun would be about the only thing that would, we haven't got that had set this right off.
Oh, exactly. Just thinking about tow surfing in general, kind of the early days, you always hear stories about Herbie Fletcher pulling in guys like Martin Potter and just zipping around the Breakit pipeline over on the north shore of Oahu. And then you kind of hear about the early tow stories here. Obviously, the Laird Hamilton wave that we've been referencing because there's such a big moment, I think, for tow surfing in general. But tow surfing at this wave at Teahupoo, because I think that cover of Surfer Mag we're never going to forget when it just said, oh, my God, on the cover. And it didn't even look like a real wave there.
No, it did. It looked like a cartoon. That wave there of Laird. Actually surprised Laird didn't show up. Although he tends not to go for the more, publicised gigs these days. I think last time we had a massive tow swell in the middle of an ASP event in Fiji 5 years ago, Laird showed up. And, got a few.
Yeah, maybe he's at a secret spot on this swell.
Yeah, he would be. I'm sure he's on his own little island somewhere looking for something bigger and better.
But, with his kind of fitness, look out the back. He could be just paddling his way in from the Hawaiian Islands.
Just swimming in.
You never know.
Yeah.
But, that was a huge moment back in Tahiti. Teahupoo history. Let's watch this. Wow, live action just getting thrown into this thing. Sean, what's it going to do?
Yeah, he's come way up the point. Here he goes, buried in this section.
Oh, no.
That spells trouble. He's going to, right about now he's praying there's not a wave coming after it, which would be the thing he doesn't want to see happen. And we'll see if he pops up. He's actually kind of come off in a pretty good spot, although here comes a wave. We see the ski just getting over that thing. So whoever was in the fluoro green weddy there, we haven't been able to pick who it is, but he's getting a couple on the head at the moment. The only thing, the consolation he's got is that he's further back up the reef and he's not in that spot there that we just saw
As you see Poto there, looks like he is trying to get involved and maybe see where this guy is. We're going to keep a lookout to see if that guy is still getting washed in, Sean.
Yeah, well, you know who Poto's just dropped off? Pratamo Arendt, ASP head judge, onto the judging tower. So that might be a sign that someone's just keeping an eye on things with an eye to the contest. And, I'm pretty sure, Pratamo doesn't want to send him out there this afternoon. I'm pretty sure no one would go along with that idea. But I reckon he's having a good look at it in terms of just getting his head around the swell a bit in the direction and what it might do once we shave a few feet off it and it gets a little more under control and becomes paddleable. And he's definitely looking at it with an eye for tomorrow.
Oh, for sure. Seeing what this swell is doing. If, they could get the heats going as early as tomorrow to finish round 3. We stopped on round 3, heat number 3, and heat 4 on deck would be the Dusty Michelle heat. It sounds like Dusty's going to be out of there, so we'd be on round 3, heat number 5, and then we'd filter through. But a ton of swell on our hands. Pratamo Arendt, the head judge of this event, is up in the tower. I wouldn't be surprised if he's got a clipboard out. He might start sending us some scores here for some of these guys.
Start ghost judging. Well, you hang around with the judges, they go out to dinner and they score their meals. They start scoring everything. They walk past the girl in the street, they'll start scoring. It's just, it's what they do.
Yeah, they sure do. And let's bring back this Phantom Cam. We've got a pretty special wave from Ace Buchan. Let's take a look at this one, Sean.
Yeah, just hanging in there. Great just enough bottom turn to get up under that lip. And once he got in there, he knew he was coming out at this stage. He knew he was just sweetly slotted in the perfect spot. And even though he's got another section to come, he's in such a good spot with so much speed. You can see him relaxing here now. That thing spits. He's still in there. And this was Ace's 9.93. I think 3 out of the 5 judges gave this a 10 yesterday.
Such a beautiful image, just seeing a totally different characteristic of the wave when you slow it down to 1,000 frames per second. Looks like the ocean just breathing on Ace Buchan just ever so lightly. He stood so tall, his posture was epic. And
he thought he was Jerry Lopez there for a second.
Oh, he sure
He's having
did.
a full Lopez moment.
He was surfing like Jerry yesterday.
Okay, well, there's our guy. We got him. So got him on the other side of the reef. So he looks all right. Looks like he's in one piece. So there's our crew. Someone having a bit of a look at this one. Trying to work out who it is. Of course, you're going to have to forgive us. We've got no ID on half these guys. We're trying to make them out from silhouettes, looking through a bit of haze. So we're kind of guesstimating identities out here.
Look at this thing from the channel. Look at from what it looks like at the water, all the boats, everyone scratching to get over the top. Look at the view from the tower.
Whoa. It's a full caddy killer. Oh, how was that?
Are you kidding me?
That would be about the worst place on earth you could be right now, would be under that.
That's the biggest closeout section I've ever seen, and there's not much water underneath separating the reef. Those boats and jet skis going right over the waves here as another one, a foamy one, is going to unload right on the reef there again. So as you can tell, this swell is still hanging around. The bulk of it right here is we're right in the mix of it. There are so many skis and tow teams, but they're taking their time. They want to pick the good ones out of the mix here. Let's check out the replay from this last set.
Yeah, we've had actually heard a couple of guys got caught this morning. Danilo Costa, the former tour surfer, Brazilian surfer, paddled out for a look, and apparently Wall got a little too close. Wall one on the head and ended up, pretty much under what you're seeing there now.
Look at
this thing. Look at the boat scrambling, surfers scrambling. Look at this thing. It's basically going onto dry reef. It's like kind of waist-deep water. And you see the buoy there. Just there's another buoy. That's generally where the boats are anchoring. And there's so much water moving out there at the moment. Those things are just getting dragged under.
Oh, yeah, completely. Just hammering and pounding the reef over and over again. We're probably going to have maybe a new section here at Teahupoo after this swell's done with that reef.
Yeah. I saw a guy paddle out this morning on a giant, it was like a 10-foot foam mal. He went out there just to look. Apparently, his leg rope got hooked around one of the tow the ropes out there, the tie-off ropes. And when a wave come, the thing just, because of course there's so much power, those buoys just go straight under. He went under with it, and it sucked his board, the board, the buoyancy of a 10-foot mal. The thing just went under like a paddle pop stick.
Though probably one of the most frightening moments of his life, getting sucked under from the buoy. A pretty frightening experience, and we do have that experience that could have been pretty frightening for Laurie Towner, but it ended up in glory. We're going to tape you to that piece. Laurie Towner gets whipped into this thing. This was on a swell a couple of months back. Vetea David dropping it on the stand-up paddle right out in front. Hasn't even noticed that Laurie's behind him yet. Watch Laurie just pull in behind him.
Yeah, look at Poto just cruising along. This is what Poto does most Sundays. Just gets out there at 12-foot chopes. And he goes, ooh, hang on, brah.
He's like right there. He realized that Laurie was behind him. They were just rail to rail on the kick out. There's that high five. They make a look here. They're like, hey, well, great ride for both of us. It worked out. Let's shake on it. And maybe let's not try that again.
Yeah, Poto out there on that stand-up paddleboard is radical. Okay, here we go. Well, a little fade back here. Little check fade. Trying to see who that is there. Is that Kamalei, maybe?
He has been around just hanging out just in case he was going to get some bombs. Wouldn't be surprised if that was him as we look at him from the channel. And I think you're right there, Sean. I think you called that one perfectly. Kamalei Alexander, he's been hanging out for the last few days or so because we've had, obviously, you guys have been watching the Billabong Pro. There's been plenty of swell, and now the monster stuff is on easy call to call the contest off, and these guys have the entire lineup to try to get the biggest monsters. Wouldn't be surprised if we're seeing some nominees for the XXL Awards happening live right now. You might be seeing them again at that award presentation.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of psycho stuff went down kind of late morning, just when it first kind of became towable and a little bit safer. And I think you're going to see some of that stuff in the next kind of month or so kind of filter out, and yeah, there's going to be some amazing waves in there.
Well, let's think about maybe one of the nominees that we have. Let's go to this live action really quick here. Seeing that one corner off right out in front of us. But we do have Dylan Longbottom, who so far, for what we've seen, is probably picked off some of the better waves of this tow session so far. And yeah, this could be in the running later on in the year. Dylan Longbottom is an absolute maniac when it comes to tow surfing and getting some bombs. Check this thing out.
Yeah, drops in really high. You see how composed he is. You know, Dylan's spent a lot of time here. He's like Laurie, you know, he's travelled here quite often. Look, takes a high line here, which is generally a bit risky, but look at this section on the west bowl. And it gets so black in there, you almost lose him. And you can see the smile on his face from there. He is pretty happy that he's got out in one piece. So that's pretty well about as deep as you can ride out here.
And probably the best wave we've seen.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah, definitely the deepest. And, you know, we've probably seen a couple bigger. But that thing was thick and ugly. And no wonder he was so happy he got out of it alive.
Oh, completely. What an amazing experience for these guys, getting whipped into some crazy ones out here. And, you know, we often reference the Laird Hamilton wave, but we're probably going to be referencing that Dylan Longbottom wave from here on out. We see the Water Patrol right there just gunning it around the lineup. They've been taking care of each other out there, and so far the casualties are talking about Raimana. We did have a knee injury from a guy named Victor, one of the Brazilians out there charging this swell. You know, a couple little reef cuts so far, but so far so good, and a pretty serious swell so far, Sean.
Yeah, definitely, mate. It's kind of pretty well everything it promised to be, and probably even a little bit more. You know, we probably didn't expect it was going to have quite so much juice in it, you know. It really, you know, we woke up this morning, the place was alive. You know, you felt like you're in the middle of the Pacific Ocean this morning.
Oh, you sure did. And a guy that took over the Pacific Ocean anytime he stepped on a surfboard, 3-time world champion Andy Irons. Please take a moment with us to celebrate his legacy.
He had no fear, you know. He was kind of fearless. I guess he had fear, but he just he had a mindset that he could push it to the side and just, you know, throw himself into Teahupoo. I guess the way he's surfing and his attitude to surfing suited that place like, you know, like no one else had ever suited Teahupoo.
We can sleep on the streets, but kids are coming.
Andy Irons forever in our hearts. What an amazing surfer, obviously everywhere, but in particular you think of just the memories here. Obviously then competition being last year's champ, but I think these kind of sessions is what you really remember Andy doing best out here in Tahiti.
For sure, Joey. You think back to 2005 it was, and was the last time at this event that a tow swell and the event have kind of got close together. We had a big tow swell, I think it was 2 or 3 days before the waiting period for the event started. And so all these guys are in town, And it was the Andy show. And there was a couple of still frames from that thing that have just gone on to become the definitive Andy Irons photo. There's one of him in those Argyle board shorts where he's standing bolt upright in a thing that's got to be 15 foot. And he's sitting there, like making a cup of tea. It's like you never see anyone more relaxed in such a gnarly situation.
Oh, so insane how him and Bruce would push each other. There's some classic stories out here of Bruce even calling him into a couple, and you'd see him, Andy, just take it and be like, "All right, Bruce, I'm going." He'd just free fall to the bottom of the pit and make it. He'd do miracles out on this wild wave. So impressive stuff so far. Remember, once again, that memorial award will be given to Andy for the biggest chargers so far. Let us know who you think that might be. Hashtag Billabong Pro if you're a big tweet fan, and tell us your nominees for those heaviest wave awards. Also, the Nixon WTA watch, the biggest chargers. We've had so many so far.
Yep.
Obviously, behind Jeremy there, Corey Lopez, a guy who didn't make it out of his heat. If he would have made it out of that last one, he would have probably made it. Got a huge score, probably an 11 or a 12 out of 10.
Yeah.
But that's also a contender for a WTA.
Yeah, there are a ton of candidates out of yesterday's swell. And the things we're going in, when we start the event again, it's probably maybe tomorrow, maybe Monday. We'll wait and see. But you're still going to a ton of swell, and guys are really going to push themselves like we saw yesterday to put themselves deeper, to get themselves into deeper barrels, bigger scores, and we may yet see someone come out of the woodwork to win that.
Oh yeah, such an exciting part of the waiting period as we're going to get to some pretty couple of fun days of the next for the swell, at least for the next couple of days, as we take a look at where our production house is. A lot of our camera guys out there in the thick of this. You can see the rain on your screen. Everything's really wet here at Teahupoo here at the end of the road, and then going back into the mountains, all that mist. There's a lot of rain back in those valleys there, Sean.
Rain here at Teahupoo? Really? It's been pretty well non-stop the last 3 days. We've had more rain than we've cared to see. But, that's just the nature of having those mountains there. It just tends to drag the clouds in. And, it'll come and go. You'll have an hour of beautiful sunshine, get hit with a little squall, another couple of hours of sunshine, squall, sunshine, rain, squall. It just doesn't sit still. The weather just moves here the whole time.
That's basically, you just summarized our day so far. It comes down so hard, and you got to think about how tricky it's going to be for these guys when it really starts pouring. They're trying to get whipped into a bomb, and you're getting rain pouring hard in your face. Let's watch this live action. Just throwing himself over the ledge, tons of speed, pulling into the barrel. Will he come out of there? And it is spinning. Sean, I'm not seeing anybody coming out of that thing.
No, dropped right down into the basement there. I got a feeling that was Kamale again. But you saw him drop about 2 floors there into the basement. But I think in doing so, he ended up losing a little bit of speed.
It kind of reminds me of Maya Gabera's wipeout a few years back, a pretty classic wipeout that she took. Raimana actually was the driver, and he was telling her not to go. He was like, no, no, no. And Maya was saying, all I heard was go, 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 and just jumped off the ledge and basically just backflopped into the flats and did a few somersaults. She had her jacket on and just kind of didn't let her penetrate, and then she went over the falls and she got pulled to safety. But, that's the kind of communication that happens out there. They work out signals, and that one there, Maya misread the signal, and she had a pretty classic wipeout. And she seems to get a number of them. She charges so hard. She's not afraid of getting swamped by a big one.
Yeah, no, she puts herself in those situations. Her and KK, obviously, crazy girls. Okay, well, here we go, looking at this thing. Again, we can't tell who it is. You've kind of got to squint to even make him out. And the last-minute decision to hit the eject button. And that's why. Look at that thing that wested right out, and it kind of closed.
A normal day at a local lineup when a swell's pumping and someone backs out, you're probably going to hear about it. Out here, they're like, hey, Brian, great decision. That thing looked pretty crazy. Watch this live action, pulling into a solid one, drawing off the reef.
Whoa.
Wow! So deep, the thing's exploding.
He came out, but look how west it is. It's ended up right on into the death section there.
Whoa. That thing was incredible.
Yeah, of course. The thing is, the waves that really barrel the most are the ones that have got the most west in them. They don't give you much time to get out, if any time. He had no time to get out.
That water was surging off the reef at such a rapid pace. Let's go quickly to the replay of this last wave. Look at him straighten out. Here's where the entire wave bottoms out. He starts directing towards the channel and now just surges off the reef right here. He's a little out of control, but look at that next section. He's so deep, and then he gets catapulted out with the spit and gets ragdolled out of that thing when we went to our tower angle. Let's see where he is and if he's still in a tough spot here. Let's watch the replay from the front.
Yeah, you can just see him through the haze. Look, he backdoors that section. Look, it's below sea level, and it blows out. He's going to come out here somewhere. There he is, but he's spinning. He's on his back, cockroaching up, over, and whoa. It's I hope he's all right. I hope, high tide at the moment, so it may have just kind of run straight over the reef and put him into the lagoon.
And as you think about another variable there, we're talking about the rain squalls, pouring down rain out there during the middle of that. That's why it was kind of hard to squint through the mist. But what an animal, taking off on that bomb. That second section that came down was incredible. Put him so deep in the cavern and got just exploded off his board and just... Geez, hopefully he's to safety now. There's so many skis out there. I wouldn't be surprised if he's already in a good spot.
Yeah, those ones with the big west hook in them, it'll give you a great barrel if you can get out, but you've got no time to escape once you actually get out. And I think he kind of knew. He's probably jumped off his board there just to get away from his board. Well, there's Kamalei and Corey driving. So Kamalei got the previous one, and Corey's gone into the lagoon to grab him. So I'm still not sure who that was on that last wave there. We'll try and find out for you guys.
As we just look at some live action from out the back, these tow teams aren't going anywhere. It's a big responsibility being a jet ski driver, and you always want to pick a good driver because they want to get you into the right wave. Look at this one on your screen. Live action here at Teahupoo. One blowing the spit. Hey, we felt that with you at home. Spit all over our camera lens and into that channel. Those guys are feeling the energy and feeling what this wave can produce out here. Look at this one, Sean.
Yeah, an empty one. We've only got probably a half dozen tow teams out there at the moment, and so it's kind of slowed up a little bit here, and they're letting some of those the smaller ones go. They're really just cherry picking at the moment, waiting for the bombs.
And we will definitely show you every single bomb that comes in during this live tow session. Let's go to a memorable moment from yesterday. Here's the Phantom Cam capturing Kai Otten's perfect 10.
Yeah, I had a chat with Otto this morning actually about his wave, and he was watching it on replay. He'd heard that I'd commented that he was going to wear out the internet. He's going to watch the replay so much, and he'd watched it for the first time this morning. He watched it about 10 times in a row. But why wouldn't you, mate? If this was me in this barrel, I'd be still there watching it right now.
And look how beautiful it looks, 1,000 frames per second. You can see how he picked his line. And this Speed Demon, in slow motion, you can capture the best moments. This is really where the bulk of the 10 came. He's on the foam ball right here, Sean.
Yeah, for sure. Yep, he's doing a bit of work in there at the moment. The foam ball's trying to get under his board, and he's kind of fighting it, trying to drive out. We're just going to see him here in a second. Where is he? There he is. He's still on the foam ball there now, but he's in a good position. He's got control of it. He's got a bit of weight on his front foot. And he's going to get blasted to glory here any second. And right about now, he knows in his own head that's a 10.
Right there, coming out so clean into the channel. He got this wave, the very first wave he caught in that heat, and he was able to take out Ace Buchan in the last heat of the day yesterday. But what a perfect way to start with a perfect 10. As we saw that thing come in, it was pretty amazing. Kai Otten's going to be tough to beat in conditions like that, and we'll probably see something similar tomorrow when this thing continues on. So pretty exciting to see when these guys get back into competition, and they'll have another call on that 7 a.m. tomorrow. Watching this size decrease a little bit, they'll make sure obviously everybody's safe, but as it trims down, these guys are going to be looking to get them out there in the biggest possible scenario.
Yeah, hey, how fun did that wave of Otto look just then compared to what we're seeing now? and then we think back to yesterday when we were watching it, we go, whoa, how heavy is that?
Oh, yeah.
And we're looking at it now going, oh, isn't that cute? Look at that one.
Well, it was so blue, and the way he surfed it, he made it look so easy. It almost looked inviting.
It's a cute little 8-footer. Look at it. That's so nice. And then you just got these grey kind of ugly things out here this afternoon.
The sun hasn't come out at all. It's been raining and misty, just adding to the suspense, waiting for another tow team to take part of one of these beasts coming through. This one seems like an insider, but there's a ton of size pouring into the reef. Some of the biggest waves we've seen come into Tahiti for quite some time.
Yeah, you've seen this ugly little spot in the reef there where Teahupoo closes out. There's about 20 of them. If you look up and down from where we are here, there's all these little corners of the reef where bad bits of ocean happen, and it was amazing to it was amazing to just sit there and watch and feel the power of the ocean and be thankful you're not there.
So looking at this wave as it sets up here, it looks like Maya Gabera getting into this position. As we look at the replay here, this thing starts to go so square on her, picks her up, and now she bails. So I think before thinking it was KK, Maya Gabera from Brazil, living in Rio de Janeiro, she jumps off there. So we're still working on the identification there, but either way you look at it, a pretty terrifying wipe out there.
Yeah, a really bad spot. Yep, that would not have been a pleasant kind of next 60 seconds for whoever that was. So,
Yeah, exactly. I think Keala Kennelly is just ramping up right now, Sean. She's getting pretty excited to get back out there because she wasn't too content with that 8-foot monster she got earlier this morning. So she's back out there, and she's going to try to outdo herself. Not really competing with anyone else out there, but her own personal goal of taking advantage of these swells. And you think about these big wave chargers, and they remember every single pulse like this. This is where they shine. This is what they come to do. This is their job. They want to chase the biggest waves in the world. And when they come to Teahupoo, it doesn't matter if it's just a big drop kind of wave, a huge wave like Mavericks, Toto Santos. This wave just going upside down and inside out, and all the big wave guys are out here trying to make it happen. Here's live action.
Yeah, this guy really wanting a piece of it. Right, rolls in, waiting for this thing to throw on the inside. Yeah, he's slotted here, trying to navigate the tube and makes it. Not sure who that was there.
Well, you see all the turbulence, even with the heavy toe boards. It looked like he was just bouncing on the face pretty quickly there. We kind of take a look deeper in the channel to see all the energy that's posting here. So pretty interesting to see what might happen in the next couple of hours. All those skis guys sitting way out the back. Majority of the guys on tour, even if they're not taking part of this tow session, Sean, they want to be out in the channel and maybe get a piece of the energy Teahupoo's sending them and carry it into their heats tomorrow.
Yeah, pretty well. Most of the guys left in the event have been out there all day, been hanging out there in the channel and just watching it and just kind of losing their lollies over what's going on out there. It's a pretty rare opportunity to be here when something like this goes down.
Oh, here we go, live action, and nobody taking that one, hanging onto the rope. They're talking to each other, and they'll decide if they want to take part of it. Here we go from the channel, taking a look into one of the barrels as it spits out into the lineup, looking out through the mist. There's a lot of rain coming down during this tow session, which is adding to the suspense out there. Another variable these big wave chargers have to deal with, and wow, the risks are high. We've talked about the injuries out here at Teahupoo that's possible. Pretty horrific things have happened in this lineup in the past, and so far there's been some reef cuts. Someone's blown out their knee, but so far they've been...
Whoa.
Wow, let's take a look at this replay.
Yeah, again, we're not quite sure who this is. This is earlier this morning. You can see it had more size. Just hanging in there on the back foot, just trying to stop that board climbing. Okay, we're getting our word through. Could have been Alex Gray, A-Gray. Looks like, and I think he got out of it and rode that thing beautifully. That was about lunchtime, I think that wave was. This is back live. This thing draining out. Highline just gets atomised by the foam ball.
Oh.
But could have been Laurie Towner there, I think.
And the thing unloads again without the surfer, so that one unsuccessful there. But geez, if the wave before was Alex Gray, that was pretty impressive. Let's take a look at the replay from this last ride here. See, just taking a top look at the mountain, dropping in as this thing bowls up. It's going square, bottoming out. Looks like the entire ocean folding over him. Sets the line there. Looks like he's safe, but look at that foam ball. Didn't give him a chance.
Unrideable. Yeah, absolutely. Just got him, grabbed him by the throat and pulled him back in. See him drop down. This thing really had a basement level. Had to backdoor that section, and look, see how deep he is there. No hope.
Oh, it just started rifling down without him. There's that spit going all the way out into the shoulder, and it's such a beautiful sight. It's like dangerously beautiful, I think Freddie P said when he was with us here in the booth, because it's scary. You're worried about the guy who's taking off on these things, but it's such a amazing view watching the ocean look like this. I mean, even at Tahiti, when you expect it, when a swell like this comes through, you can't take your eyes off it. Look at like we might have a rider up. This is live action, Sean.
Yeah, here we go. Drops to the bottom. It's one of the biggest waves we've seen in the last half hour. Look at this thing. It's too deep again. And I reckon this has kind of probably happened. These guys have sat there for, without a wave for probably 25 minutes or so. Maybe just ended up a little too far up the point and got a little ambitious. And, hopefully he's ended up just getting blown over the reef and he's into the lagoon to safety.
Well, son of the biggest barrels probably in the world happening right now. These guys, even though they're not making it out, they're seeing some things that people will never see. Big responsibility being a jet ski driver. You're whipping your partner in, and you have to make sure that you're pulling him out of these dangerous situations.
Well, someone's going to have to pull a ski rider out of a dangerous situation because there is a, ski with no driver. We've lost someone there, which we've lost a couple of skis already today. Which generally, isn't a surprise. You see it happen occasionally, when it gets this big and this gnarly. And you've got to get the skis into some really dangerous situations, and you can end up, losing skis and having them wash through. So.
It's a pretty dangerous experience. I've heard Shane Dorian talk about it in the past. The last thing you want to be doing is getting ragdolled around with a jet ski at the same time. It looks like the ski driver's caught up to it and is going to try to get this thing started up again. So working quickly to start this thing off here, Sean.
Yeah, we'll see. That's about 400 kilos, your average kind of jet ski weighs. The thing weighs a ton. You don't want to be anywhere near it when it's rolling around. And you see what happened there. He's got a little kill switch on his wrist. So if the driver gets separated from the ski, it cuts the ignition, cuts power to the ski. Otherwise, the ski could just keep going on its own. So it kills the ski, which means it eventually will just float around. So it'll find some dead water to float around. And the boys have managed to get back on the ski in one piece by the looks of it.
Let's take a look at the replay, Sean, of what happened on this absolute bomb here. Taking a look from the channel as this thing starts drawing off the water. Look at this thing bowl up. One of the bigger waves we've seen in the last couple of hours here. Thing is so wide open there, but with that kind of an explosion behind you, you don't even have a chance. You see everyone in the channel waiting, like they're worried too. Is this guy going to make it out? And he ends up going down.
Oh, look at these things just unloading on the reef here. We've got to look through a bit of sea haze here. There's no rain at the moment, but there's a ton of haze just due to the fact there's so much swell around. So we've kind of got to squint to make these guys out. Here we go. Getting, not sure who it is. He's just got bucked off by the ski wake there, I think. I think here, again, an 11th hour decision to get out of that one.
And you see all the energy from that one going unridden, and they'll probably get set up again and try to get into the rotation because they try to have a nice rotation going, trying to take turns out there. They don't want to be whipping the same guys in at the same time. Here we go, live action right out here at Chopes. A bomb right here trying to aim towards the beach a little bit. There's so much going on, and
he's held it.
He's made it. Unbelievable. Whoa. How did he do that?
I was ready to write him off. I'm not sure who it was, whether it was Dylan again or could have even been Carmelo. But you could hear the channel erupting. They also thought he'd gone. I thought we'd lost him because he kind of looked blinded for a second and went really close to the lip. But somehow he's actually managed to find a line out of it.
Well, and trusting your knowledge of towing this wave, you see the experienced guys, they're not afraid to aim, kind of straighten out a little more. I think your instinct might be, hey, open to the opening down the line, but that'll eat you up. Watch this again on the replay. Keeping a little bit more straight, the lip throwing over him. This is where we thought he was gone. And then when we check out the tower angle, he came flying out. Let's take a look at it from the front on view.
Yeah, for sure. You see this one's run over the front of a wave in front of it, so there's a bit of froth, and it skips out on him here as he hits the bottom here. The board gets a little skippy, almost loses it. You can see how low he stays, but no, he's picked a great line and gets out of it safely in one piece before that thing closes out.
And hops out of there looking from the channel. Live action, setting up a solid one. Looks like he's solid in that thing. It went square, and we are going to look to see if that rider made it out clean. Looked like it had a really good line on it right before it disappeared into the depths. You see this wave goes below sea level, and they disappear. So sometimes even from the beach, it's hard to tell how big it is out there because they're going so deep underwater. Look at another one. Live action again.
Yeah, you can see this thing just drop out and increase in size. We go hanging in, just trying to keep a rail in. Is he still there? He's gone. And you look at this thing, watch it as it goes to the right, and that's close-out territory and not much fun there.
Not at all. This is where the driver's responsibility, and it's a pretty stressful experience even for the driver too. They've got to get in and get out at just the right moment. They have to understand where the reef is too, because there's certain sections that get really, really shallow, especially when there's all this energy. They could put themselves in a bad spot. This is live out the back, Sean, and they are thinking about this one.
No, abort mission. Flick around. No, we've had a bit of a flurry. We've had probably 4 or 5 waves in the last few minutes, but we've only really had one guy come out. I think probably seen today, this place surfed deeper than it's ever been surfed. We've seen guys, what do we got here? This is back live, and again pops out. So that was beautifully ridden there by whoever it was.
A quick one there, but that channel angle is spectacular. You can see how big these barrels are coming in at Teahupoo. It is a packed channel out there, and that's kind of a big responsibility. I know there's some of the guys like Betea David who've been out here forever, and they're obviously making sure everyone's safe out there, but also the channel, that no one's tied down, and they have to make sure everybody's safe in the channel watching this go on. This is live action right out in front, a solid one out here at Teahupoo, kicking out onto the shoulder to safety. So a thrilling ride there once again here in our live tow session. We thank you for all being with us on billabongpro.com. We've had some insane ones, and we're going to keep showing you replays, so kind of a cool advantage here. Let's bring you to another replay of what just happened.
Yeah, it's our angle from the boat. You can see them dropping in there, dropping to the bottom and waiting for this thing to drain off the reef. And the crew getting a little psyched on it. Now it kind of really, that gets that big fang across from the west bowl. He's buried deep in it, and this is the same wave from the tower here.
Opens up, and look at that, just staying nice and low. Look at that speed line, and gets so deep right there. The thing's spitting, drawing off the reef. So much water moving right there, but that spit just blows the rider down. And here we go, live action right out in front.
Yep, here we go. Again, nice clean one hanging in there, and
wow, Sean, it's not easy out there. The success rate is really far down. A lot of these guys are getting clamped by that end west bull.
Yeah, we're losing a lot of guys in the last half hour. That thing had a ton of west in it, and the thing is, we can't really see it from from where our camera angle is. But the thing is, the guy on the wave could see it. He can see it coming, and he must know, half a second before it happens, that he's probably going to be toast.
Oh, completely. Absolutely toast. That feeling, it's got to be terrible for the surfers out in the lineup. Let's watch the replay. What happened? Here's a view from the channel. Let's go the rope. Has the speed. It looks like he's totally composed here. You see it drawing off the reef. Whoa. A beautiful vision there, but that next section is deadly.
Mate.
It starts going inside out on that last bit there and ends up taking him down again. I don't know the success rate, Sean. What would it be? We haven't seen too many makeable ones. Dylan Longbottom, had some heroics earlier today, but you can see, we've had probably every 1 in 10 is makeable at the moment. You've been talking about the big ones are pretty hard to escape.
Yeah, no, she's been pretty angry the last hour or so. And even though we kind of think that the swell may have peaked, might just be on the wane, there is still some real nuggets out there this afternoon. So it's down to about 4 teams out there at the moment. I reckon we're going to get a second little roster going, and all the guys have gone in earlier and rested up. We'll come back for another run at it this afternoon.
Oh, it's interesting how quickly they get right back out there. We saw Corey Lopez walking by just a few minutes ago, and then all of a sudden he was on camera on a ski. So these guys are participating in this swell one way or another. They want to make sure that they feel all this energy off the swell, even if they're not going to get every single wave. There's a couple tow guys, they're so eager to get the best ones that can come through, and we're going to keep the camera on them just in case they get the wave of the year.
Yeah, definitely, mate. We're going to stick with it for the afternoon.
A little bit of a lull right now, Sean, and so we're going to take a quick break as we continue to show our tribute to Andy Irons.
He just had this aggression, he was just going to destroy the waves. So in Tahiti, when the waves are big, and he was a big enough, powerful enough guy to just go out there and manhandle those waves. And there's not many guys that can do that. there might be a handful. And he was on the top of the list of guys that could go out to Tahiti on any day and just destroy the wave.
We can sleep on the streets, the kids are coming.
Welcome you right back. This is the live tow session, live action right out in front into this bowl and coming out nice and clean. Look at the spit. Well executed right there, Sean. And Sean is squinting his eyes through the mist. It was at Kamale.
I think it's Kamale again. Yep, he's been on a roll. He's had about 3 in the last 15 minutes. He's really getting busy out there. Well, there is a board without a rider. Someone's kicked the board off. Be one of those guys we've seen got clamped down here in the last 5 minutes. Someone's going in to find a board for them.
As we go to the replay of this last wave that was just ridden, look at that. So beautiful. What a ride there for Kamale Alexander. He's been getting a few amazing rides throughout the day today as we take the view of the replay from the tower.
Yep, here it is. Picked a great line in this one. Barreled there and out to safety. So that's the first one we've seen ridden successfully in a little while.
And right there, knows when to kick out. You don't want to hang in there for too long because look what happens. The whole thing just dumps out. We're going to go live again. We've got a rider up, Sean.
Yeah, look at this thing drops out. You can hear the channel erupting. Look at it. He's gone.
Oh, no. Oh, wow. That thing just pulled off the reef and took him down. And there's so much energy put right on his head. That was a terrible wipeout. Just happening live. There's another rider up behind him, Sean.
Oh, yeah.
This thing's drawing off the reef again, and this rider looks like he is going to be able to kick out to safety right into the channel. Skis coming by. There's a board loose again.
That was a bit of a horror story, that first one. That was probably the biggest wave we've seen in the last hour, and it just engulfed him.
Well, and you talk about the experience of some of these tow guys, and when we're calling out numbers of the swell and saying maybe it's the biggest swell ever to hit Teahupoo, these guys are towing. It's the unknown. They're experiencing rides that they've never experienced before. So all that training, next thing you know, especially with surfing, we all know every wave is different, but when this kind of power is coming in on this reef, even the best guys in the business, I think what makes them so good is that they're accustomed to falling, putting themselves into dangerous situations. Let's take another look at the replay.
Yeah, it's always the great unknown what you drop. Look at this. This thing's basically doubled in size from when he got whipped in. Now it gets his spot here, but probably knows about now he's in trouble. You can see just the volume of water drawing up. Look how deep he is. That board's skipping out. It's just a massive roll. He's going over, and that would not be pleasant there right at this very point in time.
Oh, is outright terrifying. Watch this thing set up from the tower again. The replay here sets it up. Looks like he's nice, but look at what's heaving above him. A huge bomb out here on the bulk of the swell. You see this thing just start going inside out. There's like 5 lips in it, just detonating right on his head.
Whoa.
And then spits into the channel. So we're keeping an eye out to see when this guy's going to be picked up. But look at that wave. What a wipeout. One of the scariest wipeouts I've seen here in Tahiti.
Yeah, that thing was thick. You saw the lip basically came out of the face, kind of a third of the way up the wave. It was kind of almost 2 waves in one. And that was pretty frightening.
Oh, it was terrifying. Couple of the skis right there, and there's the guy that rode that wave. He's getting his board back. And I can't believe he's functioning right now.
Yeah, we're just trying to work out who it is there. He looks all right. He survived it pretty well. But that definitely the biggest wave we've seen out there in the last hour for sure.
So he's coming on in, and we'll let you guys know who that is.
And it was Sancho.
Sancho on a beast. That was probably one of the biggest wipeouts of his career out here and looking okay. And that's what's so impressive. Getting a big wipeout like that and then whipping around and having another go.
Yeah, he's been out there all day. I don't think he's come in, actually. But he's a guy, of course, who surfs this place, all the time. And, he's got a real feel for it. I don't think it's the first time he's probably been dragged over that reef. So there is the scene here, tow day here, halfway through the Billabong Pro. Had a little break from the contest. There's Benjamin Sanchez I think he's looking for his board. Oh no, he's got the board there. He's looking for something. So we welcome to the central commentary position, Mr. Luke Egan. How are you, Louis?
Shauno, how are you?
All right, mate. Yeah. here we are. Here's a replay of it. And look at this thing.
Wow.
Didn't fancy being in there, Luke?
Not at all. No, look at it. I went out, sat in the channel for a fairly long time, and take my hat off to these guys. The commitment right now from a lot of these big wave charges is just been taken to another level as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, a couple of scary situations. I reckon Sanchez lost. That was someone else's board he's actually picked up, because he's in the lagoon chasing something there at the moment.
Oh, Sean, yeah, well, we did have that other board that was drifting by just a few moments ago before that set came in, so Benjamin Sanchez still standing by. But welcome, everybody, to the live webcast. We have this tow session going live, a pretty special experience. I'm Joe Turpel. Right next to me, former tour competitor Luke Egan and Sean Doherty. It's a pretty special experience for us. We hope you've been enjoying it. These guys are a little psycho, Luke.
Oh, the commitment today is just, I take my hat off. It's amazing. I saw some waves out there sitting in the channel that were, there was one of Nathan Fletcher's, one of McCool Rothman, Alex Gray. Those waves were like, they were 30 feet, for easy 30 feet. And I think on a day like today, it's not really the issue is the height, it's the thickness too, which is, we need to come up with a way to measure the thickness, because it's got so much to do with what's happening out there today, and it's just a show that's just beyond.
Yeah, it's been a spectacle. Well, we saw Corey just taking our fellow co-commentator Freddie P out for a little afternoon frolic.
And he said he wasn't going to take another one. Freddie P has his board with him, so he might be getting coaxed into another one. Here we go to live action here. Luke, look at this thing bottom out.
Yeah, nice transition here. Good
Laurie.
Pump. Is that Laurie?
I think it's Laurie, yeah.
And taking a really nice line, flying along, but, that's not a place you want to fall. And there he
he's
goes.
gone. Yeah.
He's over, and there's the board going over as well. So if it was Laurie, that was a bit of an error coming out there, grabbing a rail, and it's costing him.
He'd be getting punished right now. There he is. Look, he's just been flushed out of the dunny bowl, and he's got over the reef. So he's been straight into the lagoon. Hopefully he hasn't got there via the reef. I think it's managed to get him out in without touching it. But you can see the force of that wave has just blasted him straight across that reef in about half a second. Dylan's claiming it.
And to the sky, grabbing him back up there. Laurie's absolutely fine. He throws a hand up to everybody. He's going to be pumped up after that one.
He's done that about 24 times today. Look at this thing. Just really like Laurie's line, though. He just gets to the bottom and then sees how much wall he's got in front of him and just drives out to get there, and just perfect positioning for this section here, and was kind of in front of it, but the foam ball was coming out towards him, and it just caught the tail of his board and made him grab a rail, and there he is right there, look, trying to swim it off. No chance.
Good luck there. Yeah, no, pretty well done, all the hard work. Here is the boat replay again. Ridden this thing beautifully. Of course, he's ridden this wave a million times, knows the line to take, sets it, finds a low line, looking for an exit, basically gets out, but then skips while he's trying to find that exit.
Oh, no, we don't see him from the boat side, but
yeah, Laurie.
He's just waving to his mum, going, "I'm all right, Mum. I know what I'm doing.
I'm still here."
And he wants to have another go for sure. These guys are absolutely crazy. Looking live out the back, we could have another one here. Here we go.
Yeah, dropping in, waiting for this thing to come across from the west.
Oh, nearly catching the nose there, but pulling out of it and playing it safe. That board looking a little bit nervous under his feet there, and what a day to find out your board doesn't go.
Oh, yeah.
Locked into a 15-footer. Well, the boys making their way through the inside. Of course, once you get on the in the lagoon, best way out is to come back right out through the inside again.
Yeah, Laurie doesn't seem to have lost any skin yet today, which is amazing. He's taking a lot of beatings, but yeah, he's just, as I heard you say earlier, Sean, he's been coming and putting some time in here at Teahupoo now for a few years. Even, if there's any swell that's 10 foot plus, Laurie gets on a Air Tahiti Nui flight and gets here and just gets out here, and even when it's paddle days, he's one of the guys that's in the right spot at the right time.
Yeah, for sure. He's put the hours in here and reaping the rewards today. He's been one of the stars, definitely.
it seems like it's a different breed of surfer, Laurie Towner. You could tell how he's just thriving off getting beaten like that. It pumps him up, and he wants to get right back out there. We did see Benjamin Sanchez just moments ago. He's been one of the huge standouts of this tow session, just going for it, taking some huge beatings, and he's not going anywhere. He's sticking this swell out, and he wants to get the wave of his life. We did get a chance to catch up to him and hear why, had him finish the sentence for us. Benjamin Sanchez, his I surf because.
I surf because surfing perfect wave is the best feeling in the world.
I surf because once you get up on a wave, you can do absolutely anything you want.
Wade Goodall, definitely a guy who can do anything he wants when he is on a wave. And
not at the moment.
Oh, that's true. He is injured right now.
Yeah, big shout out to Wade. If you're laid up watching this, watching one of your best mates, Laurie Towner, just absolutely annihilate Teahupoo even at this size today. We hope you're getting better, and we want to see more of what we just saw in your ice surf course.
For sure. Wade is such a wizard on the wave, and he's probably just dying watching Laurie Towner take on this big swell. And as everyone is, along with us here on billabongpro.com, a special treat getting this live tow session happening. It was completely mutated early this morning, and the next thing you know, it seems a little bit more manageable. You see all the boats in the channel and some of the best tow teams in the world flying in. Some of the guys like Makua got here last night, and next thing you know, he blinks and he's in the barrel of a monster.
And they'll probably fly out tonight.
Yeah, just in one day, gone tomorrow following the swell.
But we're seeing it kind of, obviously it's a lot more, it's sorted itself out a bit during the day, Louis. But how are you seeing it, mate? You've been out in the channel in terms of the wave energy. Is the peak's been and gone? Are we on the downside?
Not too sure. I heard a whisper that around 3 o'clock this afternoon that was going to be the peak. Mm-hmm. But I think one thing that's affecting conditions out there right now is the tide. Like this morning when Ray Mana hit the bottom, he just said it was far too low tide, and I think he went back out there after that and kind of told everyone, let's stop for a little bit and let's just watch it and just see what it does. And we're going back down, going back down to the low tide now, and doesn't matter how big it is out here, you kind of could hurt yourself at the lower tide, especially at the size of, look at this thing.
Oh, he's really motoring there to get into the channel. That was a big wave. And he's managed to find a line and get out of it. Just gets cleaned up by the backwash. The violence of the whitewater of some of these things, you can see it through your screen. So being there in the channel, it's kind of spooky to watch.
Yeah, it is. And, you can get caught on the inside. We've seen a few people get caught that have just been watching the surf, in the channel, watching it. And I was just thinking of it. I was sitting in the channel going, I'm not going to get caught in there. And I thought, how robbed would you feel today if you went over the falls and had to take someone on the set and you didn't even get to ride a wave? I don't know. I just got I'd have trouble just dealing with that, to have to take punishment and not even ride a wave on the shoulder like this one, being out on the shoulder like that. To go over there and deal with what you can see to the left of your screen right now without even riding one would just be, I don't know.
Yeah, punishment with no reward.
I'm struggling with it, and it didn't even happen with me.
Without even having someone videoed it.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, what an experience that these guys are going through right now. Luke, do you ever think that these kind of waves could ever be paddled into? Do you think it's just impossible? Do you think it's maybe in the future sometime? What kind of technology would it take for someone to get paddled into one of these things?
Oh, I think we'd have to start experimenting on surfers, like their body, to get to be able to get them to paddle into some of this stuff.
Cyborgs.
Yeah, something. I'm not too sure if it's humanly possible. Maybe one day someone will prove us wrong. But look at the size. Look at the dots on the top. They're human beings, and that wave is just making them look like a fly on your screen.
Oh. You could not think of anywhere worse to be than underneath that wave you just saw then. Here we go.
Live action.
Is this Fred? No.
Where's he going? A bit too far down for that. He's lost his speed. And that thing is just mutant.
Whoa.
That was a really heavy one. And
for Fred's sake, I hope that wasn't Fred.
because he didn't even want to get another one. He had his ski, though, or his board. Let's see what happens here. This is live action again. This is Sancho.
Sanchez.
Yep, here we go. Look, he's
low. Look, he's starting to mute himself. And just going back to talking about that tide, I'm not sure how it's going to get on the low tide again this afternoon. I think these guys are going to have to watch himself.
Yeah.
Raymana this morning, I laid him down in the yard and put all lime over his back and hosed him down with lime, and he's just going, I love you, Louis. I love you, Louis. I love you, Louis, while I'm rubbing lime all through this big tiger paws down his back. I love you, I love you, I love you.
Look at this.
Just saying that so don't hit me. But Raymana, and it was already blue. His back was already blue. So Raymana, I hope you're doing all right, buddy. One of the masters out here and one of the respected watermen of Tahiti.
Oh, okay. Look at this thing, the replay here of Benjamin Sanchez's last one. He's just come back from being blasted on his previous one. And look, it's starting to do reverse ship sterns here. It's starting to get lips coming out. Look, watch where this lip comes.
We need to make up another wave for that thing. It's not a wave.
Oh, yeah. That's a mutant. That's not even real.
That wasn't even rideable, that thing.
That's grotesque.
I wonder if these guys are going to start thinking about this.
Oh, look at this. Now, what am I going to do?
Oh. That's the last place you want to be.
Options limited.
Yeah. Oh, say a prayer.
Right there, you're thinking about doing your taxes, thinking about getting everything in. No, you're probably trying to pretend you're in a whole other situation, calming your nerves.
Yeah, for sure. If you want to talk positive, that thing, at least that thing had kind of rolled for a while. It's not as it's not as bad as when it just detonates in front of you, but I'm struggling to get on the sled then. Yeah,
he looked a bit worse for wear there, I think, Sancho. Unfortunately, which is no surprise. He was in a really bad spot there.
Oh, good to see him. He's up on his knees and moving around. And,
So good to see. So the rope on the tail end of the ski, you can kind of find that and pull yourself up into it.
Yeah, well, there's handles on the back. And, the guys that have got their act together out here, they come up beside on your left side, so it's not your throttle side for driving. And if you grab like in the monkey, like a monkey grip. And as you grab people, you just turn to the left, and it'll actually just launch your guy up onto the sled. So there's a little bit of a technique there if you want to try and get your guy before the next wave comes. But the one thing too is the foam there. Like a lot of guys have fallen on skis trying to go and retrieve their surfer, and then their skis have just gone underwater and they can't go anywhere because they just fall into these big air pockets. And that's happened to a few of the boys this morning. So they've had to just get off the ski and let it get run over by the next set, and they've got to take it as well. So sometimes the jet just won't go anywhere. There's so much air, and there's been big air pockets out there today that the whole ski's just gone underwater to where you're up to your chest in water, and you're still trying to accelerate, and the thing won't go anywhere.
The ocean just opens up and swallows it.
Yeah, exactly. Just swallows your ski, and you're in as much trouble as your guy that just caught the wave.
Yeah, we've seen plenty of lost skis, plenty of lost surfers, plenty of lost boards. We're seeing Benjamin Sanchez coming in. Be interesting to see if he has another run. Looks like Dean Bowen there whipped him into that one. Yeah, Bowen.
Yeah, saw him get a crazy one from the channel earlier.
He's had some good ones, yeah.
He's been absolutely charging today, and the older the kid gets, the more radical he's getting.
Pretty frightening to see. Dean Bowen, one of the chargers from Australia, just one of the guys that flew out for this spectacular swell. Swell we're going to remember for a long time, coming right in the middle of the Billabong Pro waiting period, and could be seeing heats on maybe as early as tomorrow, Luke, as this thing trims down.
Yeah, we'll have a look at it in the morning. We'll check it really early. We get out on the water around 6 a.m. and start analysing what's going on and check it all out. And and then we'll go from there. If this thing's dropped enough to be able to paddle, we'll be out there and running the event again.
Pretty exciting stuff to come in the Billabong Pro, but the live tow session still underway, and those skis aren't going anywhere as long as this swell is still around. We're talking about it peaking today. We were mapping this Saturday swell from a long time ago. We're showing those seas up to 60 feet right around New Zealand and comparing it to other big wave swells, which traditionally are in the 45-foot zone, and this one much, much bigger. Some of the numbers thrown out from Freddie P. Luke when he was with us earlier, he was saying, hey, trying to put a number. How big is it here? He was saying some guys are even saying 30 feet out there right now.
Yeah, I totally agree with Freddie. I reckon I've seen guys ride 30-foot waves, no problem. I don't have any doubt in my mind that there have been waves ridden around that vicinity and, not just ridden but charged like you wouldn't believe. So, yeah, it's easily that big, and Probably the biggest I've ever been here. When we had that swell, I'm not sure what year it is, but Billabong put out Solid, the DVD. That was probably the last biggest I've seen it, and I think this is just a step above that.
A pretty special experience right now as we look out to the tower right there. We do have our cameraman up there in the tower staying high and dry, and I'm sure they're feeling some rumblings when the huge ones come through. We weren't even sure if this thing was going to stay up early this morning. They took the other tower down just to make sure, and pretty smart move that they did because that thing would be long gone. Sean Doherty stepping out and now inviting into the booth Nick Carroll. Nick, welcome. What a day.
My God. Look, here goes someone now. Unbelievable situations people are putting themselves into today. Viewers, I know you're watching it, you are getting a visual of this, all right? Look at that, you're getting a visual of it, all right? But the sensation of being out amongst that right now, the water movement, the energy on the reef, the sound of those waves as they hit the reef, it's undescribable, man. It is unbelievable.
And look at that one exploding. Hey, this is live action right here. A couple of waves in a row. The first one looked like they found an escape route on to the last couple, but look at that surging on the inside, Nick. That's incredible.
Yeah, I don't know. I paddled out there about 10:30, 11 o'clock this morning, and I've been seeing all morning people coming in going, I saw Romana. I saw Louis take Romana's wetsuit off and reveal all these bumps and scratches, and he was wearing a wetsuit and a personal flotation device. Somehow he got scratched through those two things. And
Nick, while I was doing it and putting lime on it, as you see the replay of that last wave, it was getting bluer by the minute. So he did hit really hard. It wasn't just the scratch. It was getting blue, so I hope Romana's going to be okay.
Looks like, and look at this right here in the replay. Watch him make this thing. This thing is going square on the reef. It's surging so much energy off there, and he plans his escape route beautifully. He's getting covered up with the spit and everything else that wave had inside of it, and he made his way out. So heroic effort there as we've seen a lot of takedowns. The makeable ratio, Nick, for what you saw on the channel, it doesn't seem too easy for these guys.
No, there's a lot of not make it waves, and I'm sure they don't look like that when the crew are letting go. You're pulling in, and it's just a very, very straight, long line wave. Look at this one. Just lets go. This one relatively kind of almost...
Dylan. It looks like Dylan's front arm.
Yeah, he's going to come down and run really low because the curve of the wave is so savage. You got to try and stay where it's a little bit flat. Yeah.
How did he take that low row? The thing just explodes on him on the inside.
Oh, look, the wave itself, the face of that wave is only like 5 or 6 feet, but the wave itself is 15 to 20 feet. Just 10 to 15 foot of lip.
The issue right now is I think the tide's getting too low. Like these mutant things on the inside are just turning himself past barreling too much, and it's pretty interesting to see what's going to happen as we get further into that low tide, because that's just reversing the day around. And exactly in the morning, Romana just said it's too low. Everyone was hitting the bottom. Everyone bounced. It was like I think Hippo was the only guy to make a wave before about 8:15.
Right.
8:30.
Yeah, the vibe this morning though, Louis, just down there at the point, every now and then a big, 20-foot plus set would hit outside, it'd wash through the lagoon, start taking the point out to sea, and every now and then you'd see guys, you can see Laurie Towner there looking pretty relaxed and giggling to himself, and you'd see those guys come in. I saw all the crew came in when Romana was brought in. And they come in, and it's like watching people getting ready to go back out and fight dragons. Their eyes they're not bugging out, but they're extremely intense.
Focused.
Very focused and just wound up. And out there in the channel while watching people do stuff today, I watched Nathan Fletcher ride a wave into Armageddon.
Yeah.
Just literally Armageddon. It was not a wave anymore. It was a place, a terrifying black place. He rode it straight in there, and I was just thinking to myself, what is he after? What does he want? What is he chasing in there? That's not a place that humans should go, but he's gone in there.
Nick,
another wave, Bruce Irons went in. Kobe slung him in, And Bruce plunged in there, and he just plunged in, and he was being Bruce, just had the blinkers on, charged right in there. Sure enough, got absolutely buried, smashed. He was down for like 30 seconds maybe. Came up, and Kobe dashed in there, look of concern on his face, and he came back out and he was just laughing hysterically. Sure enough, because Bruce has had his board shorts removed by the wave, and Bruce was
totally
naked.
Lost.
He was driving around the lineup naked.
I was just at Parko's, and we're talking about that, and Bruce and Kobe were there, and the boys goes, so you drove Bruce around the crowd, and Kobe goes, no, I drove him through it,
straight through the crowd.
While he was naked on the back of the sled. So,
Bruce was slapping his own bum as to say, I don't care, you look at it if you want to.
Oh man, Bruce Irons pulling into a bomb. That is incredible.
Shortless.
Losing his trunks, and hey, proud of it too. The energy coming from the lineup, and Bruce Irons is taking a big part of it there. Just adding to the stories here, Nick Carroll, thanks for bringing that one to us. Nick Carroll over there, Luke Egan, I'm Joe Turpel. Hope you've been enjoying this tow session. The stories will continue, we can assure you.
Definitely will, that's for sure. It's an amazing day, it's turned into being able to get our guys out there and bring this to you, and as same as you, Nick, I sat in the channel for about 4 hours today, and it was just fascinating to watch these guys. They're so dedicated at what they do, and the guys that have got their act together really impressed me. Guys that were picking our guys up without them getting another wave on the head, and just you could see they've been in routine for a while and keeping all their stuff together. So these guys pretty dedicated to riding these types of waves.
And we are going to keep our eyes on the horizon and bring you every single bomb that comes through during this live tow session. But the special thing that we've had during this event is the Phantom camera taking pictures of this amazing wave. Here is the wipeout from Hayari Williams yesterday, the first heat of the morning, 1,000 frames per second. Are you kidding me, Luke? Look at that thing.
Yeah, Hayari deciding he doesn't want to go, but Teahupoo's got another idea for him. And going, you are coming with you. And how's look? He lifts his head, gets a breath, and what a view right there. It's a beautiful view he's got at the bottom. And okay. And Harry turned up for that heat, and he'd only been awake for about 5 minutes. I saw him get his jersey, and so imagine going from being awake for about 5 minutes. I'm sure someone woke him up when you're going to have a heat and braced him out there, and then he's right there. After being awake, he still had a full pillow head on before he turned up, and that was his first wave.
I bet you it felt like that too. I bet you it felt like slow motion to him then. You've just been going, oh wow, isn't this amazing?
Plus that first heat yesterday was a very difficult heat between him and who was it in that?
Jeremy
Flores. As we see live action, a goofy footer driving into this one. Looking pretty nicely positioned to come out.
Oh, no, it's not ever
not with that happen. Bit. So, wow, that's getting too low tide, maybe.
Oh, it doesn't look makeable. It doesn't even look like these guys are concerned about counting the waves that are makeable out there. They're shutting down every single time. You don't have plenty of time to kind of sort it out. Let's look at this right here. This is a replay.
Looked like he had a good positioning on this wave, but that mutant M-bit that just seems to be on every wave now just decides to take him out. He was way too deep. I'm dreaming. Look at that thing.
Oh.
There's no way.
No back on that wave, and it probably feels like our entire body of water in the world landing on their head on this reef. It's such a tough zone just to compress you in such a shallow section. The reef is right under your feet. Nick, when you're out there, is there any sort of order with the tow teams as far as taking turns out there?
You can't see them. You're in the channel, and all you can see is these guys, these skis sitting out there. You look back in and you see these scenarios, on the coastline, Tahiti, heaven on earth, all that sort of stuff. You look straight up that beautiful valley there and just the whole magnificent volcanic tropical beauty of the place. Right?
and then you turn around.
And then all of a sudden there's 20 feet cement mixers coming straight at you. It's odd because in that little plug, when you're in that little plug between the left and the right at Teahupoo, you actually feel quite safe as long as there's not a really major set coming. In that case, it starts being a bit spooky. You get sucked around. You've got to really be on your toes. Danilo Kuto found that out, didn't he?
Went across the
paddled out, and everyone said, "Oh, you should have seen." He just got sucked over backwards and disappeared.
Yeah, I saw him go. He went over backwards, and then we all just kept going, just staying over the top of the waves, looking at him, and he just like take another one. So he took a couple, and that's we mentioned before. You must just feel ripped off having to take a few on the head, and you haven't even got to your feet. It's a feeling you just feel very strange today. If that would be the case.
Undue punishment as we have a little moment of tranquility. This is where we're all staying right here. This is where the production house is, just behind us here on the point. Pretty beautiful spectacle there, and seeing the valleys there, which is a big part of how this reef pass was made. The fresh water coming out, creating that reef pass, because when you have fresh water coming onto a reef, the reef doesn't really thrive off of fresh water, so it creates this pass here, a spectacular reef pass here in Tahiti, and plenty more to come. We have a lot more live action to come from this tow session. Nick, Luke, Egan, pretty spectacular, probably some of the biggest stuff we've seen. Here's live action. Nick, how's this thing?
What is that thing? Oh man, what a moment for that guy. He's ridden it through and he's cleanly come out. Is that Dean Bowen?
Is it Dino?
I think so.
I'm pretty happy with it.
It was either Dean or it was Anthony Walsh, but either way, what a moment in your life. Come through a wave like that. You have your heart in your mouth. A couple of wipeouts in, you start realising what's going on. Extremely fortunate to have personal flotation devices because that's bringing guys back up.
Boys, let's check out this replay from the tower here. Dean Bowen, we can't even see him at the bottom of this monster. It's going below sea level. How is that view for Dean? Blows him out into the channel. That has to be a contender for the XXL. Let's take a look from the channel.
Yeah, look at this thing just going square. The low tide just making it so below sea level and just positioning himself perfect so that almost the foam ball coming out and taking his feet from under him, but perfectly doing that.
It's interesting. Watching Dean there, he trimmed himself forward as he was coming out, and I talked with Freddie Patacha this morning. He'd just come in and he'd got a little bit of a shake-up, but he was okay. He was a bit scraped. His board shorts are torn, all that stuff. Yeah, brothers, it's all great out there in the channel, isn't it?
Yeah. What a crew right there. We've got Chris, who's providing our phantom camera and footage. Kendall's been out there throughout this day, a historic day in Teahupoo history here happening live. And those guys, for the camera guys out there, they've got to make sure that they're in the right spot. They've got to worry about their own safety as well. Thinking about that phantom footage, let's go take a look at what happened yesterday to Joel Parkinson, and we're going to slow it down to 1,000 frames per second. Look at this dream run at the start, Nick.
What a fascinating way of looking at a wave, this slow and careful, huh? Because it doesn't feel like this when you're riding it. But this is what's happening. And the wave opened up and he stood up and he pumped. He's going, I've got to get some speed. That's the way to do it. Stand up and drive and pump. Now resumes the position and pulls it up, and it's just not going to happen, is it?
No, that's way too deep, but tried to pump as much as he possibly could. I like the no hands stance there too, and nearly comes out. We're going to see a pop. He's not going to come out, but we'll see how far he gets. There you go on the foam ball right there, and just getting caught on that little bit there and just looking out of it and just going over. Look at those size 12s just stuck up in the air there, stuck in the foam ball and just coming around. But
and look at that view. You see that image, and you could hang that up on your wall. It turned the phantom camera, turning it into just a work of art, and then slowing down those wipeout moments. You could see what Joel Parkinson had to go through at the tail end of that wave. It's incredible. As we have some of the tow guys coming into our front lawn, taking a break from some beasts that are out the back. We're keeping that camera out on the horizon. It sneaks up on you pretty quick out there, Luke, so you never know.
Yeah, it sure does, and it does. It's just crazy out there today, and I'm just a little worried with that low tide. It's getting a bit dangerous, and just that muted inside as we see some guys still waiting out there patiently for their turn to be whipped into probably the wave of their life.
Oh, exactly. See some of the ski teams here, and at the moment we're going to make sure we bring you everything, and we're going to take a moment here to look out the back and just kind of see. We're glancing around because those sets kind of sneak up on you out of nowhere. We've got some great teams here. Look at this beast right here, Nick.
It's so deformed, man. You know, waves like that are hitting the reef, and you can actually feel the water tremble a little bit. You know, it makes an extraordinary sound, a cracking, nasty cracking sound, as if it's breaking bones just by the act of landing, and then the water just goes like there's just a little water quake.
Well put. I really love that analogy there, because that's exactly what's happening out in the lineup. We are going to take a short break. There's much more to come on this tow session, but please join us during this break as we celebrate the legacy of Andy Irons.
He had no fear, you know. He was kind of fearless. I guess he had fear, but he just he had a mindset that he could push it to the side and just, you know, throw himself into Teahupoo. I guess the way his surfing and his attitude to surfing suited that place like no one else had ever suited Teahupoo.
Sleep on the streets, but kids are coming.
Welcome back, everybody. Seeing Dean Bowen and Benjamin Sanchez on the ski right there. And it's really weird seeing them with big smiles on their face, because they've been taking some beatings. I think Dean Bowen probably smiling the biggest right now because he was successful on the last one that came through. Nick Carroll still with us. Luke Egan just stepped out and now inviting into the booth Josh Kerr. Welcome, Josh. First of all, just tell us how you're feeling today. What's been going on?
I've actually put about 7 hours in the channel just hanging out watching all the history go down in front of my eyes, and that was insane out there. I've never seen anything like it, and I've never watched surfing and wanted nothing to do with it in my life before, and that was the first time ever, so that was pretty insane.
What were some of the best waves that you saw this morning?
I think the biggest were probably Bruce Irons, Nathan Fletcher, and Kobe, Makua, Alex Gray, far out they all, and Dean Bowen, Laurie, Dylan. They're all just going crazy. I don't know what they're up to. They've got a screw loose for sure. I don't know what Anthony did, but he probably did something crazy too, I bet.
That was Anthony on that last wave there. Yeah, you know, that big, heavy wave that was successfully pulled and made out on the shoulder. That was Anthony.
So that was confirmed there. Yeah. All right, so let's
he was
get
out there for a while too, waiting for that one.
He was.
Yeah, like about good 2 hours maybe.
And being very selective. Let's go through a recap of all the best waves that we've captured so far. Here's a little highlight reel of our tow session. You see this one just exploding, kind of setting the stage. Josh, you were right next to that cannon.
I almost got taken out by a fair few of these ones sitting in the channel too far in. That was enough of a scare for me.
So we see a success story here, making this one. Nick, another one out the back. Look at this Dreamwave setting up.
Oh, man, stood tall on that one. He's a little high, though, isn't he? He's a little high.
Oh, no, I saw that one. That was the best needle thread I've ever seen in my life when I was watching the channel, that one. Me and CJ were there tripping. Couldn't believe he actually threaded that little high line and got through that. That was insane.
It just takes so many different steps on the reef. It'll just all of a sudden have this low road. There's about 5 lips coming on top of each other as this wave takes shape. Another big highlight from the tow session.
Oh, is that Laurie?
Yeah, that's Laurie.
That didn't work out so well. There was, I don't know, I think I saw about 70% of the waves that you couldn't have even got off the back, even if you did make it anyway, so you're going to get hammered at some point pretty much on most of the waves you caught out there.
Wow, look at the turbulence there. This is where he straightened out, and we thought this guy was gone, trying to angle out of this thing. Look at this, blowing himself out, and he made it. That was a miracle run.
Was that Benjamin Sanchez, maybe it looks like?
Yeah, Benjamin.
Yeah, he got a bunch of good ones out there, actually.
Oh, look at this pit during the tow session. It's going underwater, and to have a seat in the channel for this, this is what Nick and Josh were seeing. This is dangerous. Right there.
That one.
Probably
that
the most
scary.
horrific wipeout. Who was that going down, Josh?
I can't remember. I don't know. I think everyone went down a bunch of times. And I don't know who that was.
Corey Lopez and Freddie P. Freddie was with us earlier talking about his experience. Another highlight coming to you right here, Laurie Towner.
Did you guys get Julian's one too? That one was pretty insane. He got the one wave he got out there.
Oh, I hope so. There goes going down right there, Laurie
Oh
Towner.
my goodness, swimming up the falls.
And he was smiling and laughing after this. Look at it. He'd given a high five to our cameras, just throwing a little shaka. He is happiest when the waves are pulsing like this. Look at him. Can't even control his arms right now.
Oh, no, they all got a screw loose, those guys. I don't know what's up with them.
Another highlight. Here's the tower angle. Look at this low road he had to take, exploding him out to safety.
It's interesting, isn't it? Those guys, they're coming out of these situations and they're just full of beans and smiling and carrying on. It reminds me of something that the famous British Prime Minister Winston Churchill once said. He said, "There is nothing more exhilarating in the world than being shot at and missed." I think it's just that. You know, they come out the other side of it and you're just high as a kite because you're okay.
Wow, we are back live after that highlight reel. And look, this guy trying not to get shot at. He's shot at. Can he make it out of the cannon? Oh, no.
And back over the falls. I'll tell you what, those life jackets do people wonders because I've seen a fair few people that would have died if they didn't have them on for sure.
Oh,
Mayara Gabbera, probably the highest victim of that one. But she survived because of the vest, I think.
Oh, wow. Look at this replay. Perfect line right here. And that is cylinder is exploding with so much energy deep on the wave. And, wow, avoid getting shot at. Let's take a look from the tower.
It's like a 12-foot wave that turned into a 12-foot lip and a 1-foot barrel. It was insane.
Now, Josh, were you really not tempted to do this?
I went through a few moments of going, okay, I'm going to do it. And
Yeah.
then because it had settled down a little bit, and then a few crazy ones are coming and I go, oh, actually, I don't want to do that. And I go, everyone's going, unless you're going to go the big one. Oh, is this Keala on one live? Oh, she's going too slow. Oh, make it. Oh, that ate her.
Oh,
that's insane to see a girl doing that. That's crazy.
It looked like a great wave to pick there, too. It kind of seemed like it didn't mutate as much as some of them did, but...
Oh, she might get the mutated one on the head, though.
No.
Well, that's the risk, isn't it?
So, Keala Kennelly, first woman to tow into Teahupoo. Let's take a look at the replay, see what happened here.
Well, she did draw it a little slowly, off the bottom. And by the time she'd done that, it was just too late. It just gobbled her.
There's Biff laughing in the foreground. Well, it looks like she almost lost her foot out of a strap going over the
Maybe that was it. She was thrown off a little bit.
Yeah.
So she didn't draw the line that she might have drawn.
Yeah.
And set herself a bit clearer there, and she would have come bursting out, but not to be.
Look at that thing unload onto the open face. So thinking about that big wipeout from earlier, it was Maya Gabbera that got swallowed on one earlier in the session, Josh?
Yeah, she actually caught not that big of a wave and then got caught inside trying to swim out with a life jacket, couldn't penetrate, then got sucked backwards over the falls and was just in between the end of the left and the right that goes into the left, and she was going out and in, just right in the impact zone, just couldn't get in or out. And I think good 5 or 6 waves that were really big, all on the head. And she didn't come up breathing that well. They had to take her out, and heard she was bleeding a bit from the eardrums. So, she took a beating and a half.
So during that moment, what's the channel like? Is everyone kind of, holding their breath for Maya? Are people screaming? What's happening during that moment?
Yeah, everyone's pointing to the skis like, get in there and get out of it. It was just that point where there was just so much foam going everywhere that a ski couldn't even get in there. You wouldn't even get traction. The ski would have got lit up by the next wave, and that would have just made it more dangerous. So they had to wait until the time was right, and they got in there and got her.
So thinking about, the rest of the day for you, are you going to try to get back out in the channel and get a piece of this energy out there?
I was thinking about it, and now I'm watching these guys. It looks like that tide's dropping out, and I don't know. I think I might just wait till tomorrow, and hopefully in the morning there'll be some good ones that we can paddle into that don't want to kill us as much.
Well, while we have you here too, Josh, speaking about this heroic day of tow-in surfing, your heroic heat yesterday, you and Julian have some insane heats together, and you got him in the last one.
Yeah, I was stoked, to get him. We always have really fun heats when we surf against each other, and he loves just dropping 9s on me every time we surf, so you got to really, battle your way against him to, beat the guy, and I was stoked to end up on top of that one for sure.
At 9.7 right there. Josh Kerr, you had such a dream wave. We actually captured it on the Phantom camera, so we're going to slow it down to 1,000 frames per second. Josh, why don't you take us through your ride here?
I haven't even seen this, so I don't really know what to say. I remember just being on it, and it was going a lot faster than that when I was going, for sure.
You were? Not 1,000 frames a second then. It was more like about 20.
Yeah.
Look how blue and, maybe a little bit friendlier than what we've seen today.
That wasn't my 9.7, that was the 8.
That was it. So you do remember?
Yeah, I remember that not being the 9.7.
Okay, so Kersey, how much are you thinking about this little... It's not a foam ball exactly. It's more a lip explosion coming up and creating the foam ball. How much are you thinking about that when you're pulling into a section like that?
That's the thing you're trying to avoid, definitely, when you're at Teahupoo. That's why you need to get that high line and almost turn the corner inside the barrel half the time just to try and avoid that explosion that's coming up because, that's the... Oh, here comes a big one, too.
Ooh, live action right out in front, just going Mach 10.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, see, there's no exit. What are you going to do?
Wow.
The board going over the falls.
Board goes over the falls, and he flies out to safety. So at least he got out of there. He's going to have to find his board. Here's another one.
Second wave of the set's always the scariest. Oh, that was a good one.
Hey, who is that right there?
Who is that masked man?
Corey or Freddie P, maybe?
I hope so.
That was Fred Pataccia right there. And yeah, this morning Fred come in and he was all cut. He was a bit cut up and he had a couple of wipeouts and he was going, it was different to what I thought out there. He was saying you got to lean forward. You think you're supposed to lean back to fit the curve of the wave.
Look at this dismount from that last replay.
I'll tell you, I was lucky there was no ski hanging there like there has been half the time.
Just wanted something to hold on to. Let's take a look at the replay from the second one right behind it. Look at that spit blowing out a few times, and is it Freddie P?
Yeah, that's so
is it
Freddie.
Corey or Freddie? That is Freddie.
So Fred.
Oh, wow. So if it is Freddie, we are so psyched for him. Let's take a look from the water of this replay. Last wave, we're calling it Freddie P, and we're running with it. Look at this from the water. This is what it looks like when he's coming at you in an absolute cannon. Just happened a second ago. Here's that replay. He even touched the face for a second, and then the cannon explodes. He's getting shot at, and he reappears again. One of the rare successful rides we've had today.
Oh, man, he wound up the windows for a second. It was that steep at one point.
Let's see him come off the top and throw the hands to the sky here. There he goes. He's free from it, and he made that thing. He was going so fast at the takeoff, taking off deep on the reef, and maybe they're starting to sort it out, Nick. You think starting to pick which waves to go on, maybe which waves not to go on?
Maybe. It just seems like there's been a lot more waves ridden in the last hour or so than was before when it was a lot bigger. It felt like it was a bit bigger, and maybe at the time guys were waiting for the 25 to 30 foot lumps, and now they're sort of going the 15-foot plus ones and just racking up a few more rides and getting a bit more relaxed. To me, it looked like there's a little bit more relaxation in the lineup.
Yeah, they're trying to get that real deep and just go with speed and just knife through that whole section. It's far out. It's good to come here and watch it live on the screen. In the water, my heart was pumping too much.
It was a bit of an adrenaline overload, wasn't it?
Oh, my goodness. I did 7 hours of it, and I'm just frazzled right now. And I didn't even surf a wave.
And you're surfed out, mentally exhausted from all the energy out in this lineup. There's a lot of people out there. And is there someone out there, Josh, kind of keeping the channel in order right now? How is everyone just able to...
Not really. It's kind of like some sort of unorganized chaos that's kind of working at the moment. But there's definitely been a few... There was one wave that Nathan Fletcher got earlier that a fair few boats are caught inside. One boat got caught under the other boat and almost capsized. There was a real close situation. And then the boats are trying to run over the top of us guys, and it was pretty hairy. I was lucky no one got a leg chopped off, that's for sure. But
yeah, everybody sort of blanked when that wave came.
Yeah,
because it was so big and so dark, and it was moving so much water back out towards it, that I think everybody in the channel just just sort of forgot everything else. Started sort of going, gotta get out of the way of this thing. And Nathan himself, of course, was he was in his happy place in there somewhere.
Hopefully someone got the shot. Everyone was freaking at that point. I think a few people actually did fall out of the one boat at one point on that one, but they didn't end up in the bad spot, so I was lucky.
Very lucky, yeah.
So as far as the injury report goes, well, wait a second. Let's see. It looks like we got it right live here.
Freddie's on the hunt now.
Well, he's jumped back in. He's got hungry, but he's gone like a 6-footer sort of thing here.
Oh, let's just hope. Well, that's not Freddie.
That's not Freddie.
Let's hope that it's not a 100-footer behind it.
Yeah. Wow. One surfer, Josh, you'll remember this. One surfer paddled directly into the lineup, from the channel in between the sets, and he was dead keen on catching a wave off the end bowl, and he went for one. He paddled into it, and he just sort of stopped in the lip and just went.
Yeah. I forget the guy's name, but he actually just came in from towing and then swapped over his spot for Anthony Walsh, and he was on Anthony Walsh's board. Then he ditched the leggy on after he went over the falls. Just let Anthony's board get washed in, and he swam back out.
Just disappeared.
I don't even think they went in and got it.
No, they just chalked that one up to experience.
Oh, that was crazy.
Well, basically confirming that today was not a paddle day, and a good call to run the toe surfing. And we hope you guys have been enjoying the toe surfing session live. And Josh, especially, thanks for taking the time to share your stories from the channel. And enjoy the rest of the day, and good luck in the competition.
Yeah, thanks. I'm ready for tomorrow. It should be fun.
Right on. So everyone on at home, Josh Kerr, he's got a big heat coming up, and possibly going tomorrow. He's ready to go. If it does go, it'll be trimming down in size. Today peaking around 3, so we'll see if it's going to be paddle size in the morning. We'll be making a call bright and early. Josh Kerr, one of the big standouts throughout this event so far, as we're bringing some more guys in here. At the moment, we do have a lull in between sets. We are going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
He's touched so many surfers, so many people. He's such an awesome guy, and it's I mean, every event everyone's missing him. He used to blow minds at every event. So, but yeah, he won that one last year, so I think it'll be pretty close to everyone's heart.
We can sleep on the streets, the kids are coming.
Welcome back, everybody, to taking this toe session to you live. Josh Kerr just stepping out and now welcoming into the booth Kamale Alexander. Kamale, how are you?
Great. Made it through the day alive. Got a couple waves and having a blast. Thank you.
Well, we've been watching, for the last few hours, and it looked like you got some insane ones. Can you take us through what it felt like? Because there's only a few people in the world that got to see what you saw out there.
Some of my best views were other riders like Nathan, just being out there at that point where they're letting go of the rope and you're looking over it like, oh my God, it's like from the channel you see the end, but the view you get from where you're letting go of the rope is like radical.
Right, it's at the start of the gun barrel, isn't it?
It's just like, I don't know, it looks like a waterfall, or like a big tsunami of sorts before it breaks. I think that's one of the best views is pre-barrel.
Pre-barrel, right.
Yeah.
So because it's just a slab of
water
it's like down.
It just looks like fake. It looks like a stationary wave,
At that point in the game, is there anything in your head that you grab onto at that moment, or is it completely blank with focus, just focused on the prize?
We've all been, I can't say that actually. Some of the guys out there don't know how to surf that well, but most of us, we've been surfing our whole life, so we know the momentum, where to go, what not to do, so for us, for most surfers, it's just natural where to go, when.
And with this swell, we're saying it's a pretty historical swell coming to Teahupoo. Have you surfed anything similar to this?
Nope, never, ever, never thought I'd dream of surfing anything like this. And like you said, it was, I was watching history be made out on the water and on the land. The waves coming up on the beach and hitting cars and barreling onto the shore break. And then obviously what was going on outside. But yeah, it was history in the making, definitely.
And for you, we have a lot of wipeout stories. What's the biggest wipeout that you saw from being out there?
Oh, man. This Brazilian guy, I saw some wipeouts, but this Brazilian guy, Gordo, got a massive wave, and he kind of did the wrong, I don't know, whatever. I don't want to say anything, but he started to lean a little too much on his heel side, and next thing you know, he was on his back, and it looked one of the fake wipeouts, and he actually hit the reef with his face, and he was bleeding, and he looked pretty spun out, so it was intense.
Oh, I think we actually might have caught that wave during this session. We did see someone get ragged out on their heels, and get completely spun upside down, disconnected from your board, and discombobulated. But it looks like, are the skis doing a good job getting guys in and out of there? Is that mainly the driver's responsibility, whoever whips you in, to get you right back out of there?
Yeah, it's 100% the driver's responsibility, and that's why you take on such a big, responsibility when you drive someone. And, what's his name? The Brazilian Gordo. After that wipeout, his driver did not get him. Poto went and got him. So, hats off to the Tahitian lifeguards again. I actually saw him, Poto, tell Terry Dominic to get off the back of the sled because he was towing Terry. Terry caught a wave, picked him up, but everyone seen Gordo needed help, and so he told Terry, get off, and that's hats off to those guys. He went and saved him. I think he was going towards the right, and I think it would have been pretty bad. And I know that Gordo's driver is not that good, so I won't say any names.
I think Poto got Maya too, didn't he?
Oh, I would not doubt it.
Yeah.
Would not doubt it.
I think he did. It's you're right though, Kamala, isn't it? It's a massive responsibility, driving and being able to pick out what's going to happen to your rider. You can't see, but you kind of got a feel for where he is on the wave. And you're watching, and will he come up, or is he going to be in on the reef there? And if he goes in on the reef, what do you do about that? Do you try and pull him back out, or do you just follow him over into the lagoon? All the little choices you've got to make the whole time.
Well, it's 100% the driver, 100%. The person on the end of the rope is at the driver's mercy. So you're only as good as your driver, And I think we saw that today. There's good drivers, crazy drivers, but good, and bad drivers and bad. Here's Keala.
Oh, yeah, this is live action.
It's Keala.
Oh, Keala letting go of the rope. Here she goes.
Oh, it's a pretty good one.
Looking from the channel. Looks like she's got this, Kamala.
She wants redemption. Oh, she might be happy.
She got redemption. She got a bit of redemption there.
This morning she wasn't too stoked. She's like, it was like an 8-footer, blah, blah, blah.
Here we go. We've got another wave live action right out in front. Strider.
Is that? No.
Nah, that wasn't Strider, was Liski, was it?
No, Sean Lopez. Sean Lopez,
there you go.
Right. Great identification
he was sitting on the boat all day, so, I'm happy to see him get away.
Now, Kamala, I've got a question. It's like a really obvious one. Okay, but when you're in the channel or if you're watching it, live online or whatever, and you see that shot from the channel and you see someone like on a 20-foot wave or whatever, and it's just stood up like a black thing behind him. A little bit like this, but,
That is a girl. More. That is a girl surfers.
Keala Cantley.
So you guys take pride in that girl right there. She's representing all you girls around the world.
Oh, that is amazing. Let's take a look from the front end. Keala Cantley.
Hey, pardon me. Congratulations to Keala and her family, too. I think her girlfriend's 5 months pregnant.
Wow.
Yeah, she was telling me Keala got her brother's sperm and inseminated her wife.
Oh, God.
So hats off. Congratulations. Look at her. Yeah, she's stoked.
She
got behind the hole.
Yeah. She got barreled.
Yes, she's stoked. Let's see if there's a claim. Little claim. Bobble.
Let's go,
Bobble.
KK. Oh, nice and clean. Let's take a look at Sean Lopez here from the channel. Look at this thing set up, Kamala.
So here's the thing. These south ones, see how makeable they are?
They're really
makeable.
Open, huh?
You can get deep and you can,
make a few choices. Yeah. Look at this one.
We got the south, nice south, little west.
But plenty of room out there.
Plenty of room, not the biggest wave, but you take a make any day,
Yeah. Now, on the bigger ones, Kamala, you're coming down the line. If you're just viewing it from the camera angle or you're sitting in the channel just watching, what you see is what's behind the rider lifting. Can you tell me, do you ever get a sight of that when you're riding the wave? Do you have a full awareness of what's happening behind you as well as what's happening in front? Or is that something you just got to keep out of your mind?
Yeah, in all honesty, that's one of the keys to surfing this wave is never looking back. Because, if you're paddle surfing and the wave's going this way, you don't ever swing towards the pit and look at the hole. You might, you stop. So you never want to look at that thing. Right. Unless you are in the channel. You want nothing to do what's behind you. You want all ahead.
Well, Kamala, we do have a replay of Benjamin Sancho's wave that we saw earlier, and we really want you to check this one out. What do you think about this wave?
I saw this. I was right up top here, and I was stoked for him. He was waiting all day, and my God, does it get any better?
That is ridiculous.
Well,
Huh?
right here. Oh, no, that's Gordo. That's Gordo.
That's Gordo in the
Gordo.
Pope's living room there, just getting absolutely.
That's the one he hit his face.
So that was the one you were talking about, Gordo, getting thrown into that one. The way you described it reminded me of this wave that we did see earlier.
He did go back on his heels, didn't he? Huh?
That was weird, huh?
Ooh.
Oh, that was bad.
Wow.
No,
because that didn't even seem real, like you were saying.
I had the view of down here, and I don't know. He was like a feather in the wind. You know, it was just he had.
It was almost like the wave just threw him off
It
its
was
face.
it was a really big wave, and I don't know. You know, it's such a hairline. Whether you gotta, like I said, you gotta have a good driver. It gives you that line to where you have an option to maybe, because you don't want to be going full speed on a wave.
Well, let's take another look at this wave from Gordo and see what went wrong here. At this point,
so right here, look, go that way, that way, that way. Look, he's trying to go up here. I mean, you know, in all honesty, he was fighting. You had to go down. You got to go down. He was looking up. Huh, Josh?
And let's take a look at this view from the tower here.
Look how big this thing is.
Look at this thing right here. Okay, right here, he's losing control already because it's out of control.
Yeah. Yeah, and he needs to be
lip
running a bit
come
flatter
out of
down
Yeah,
the
maybe
line.
right here you want to be down here coming, you know.
Yeah,
oh
and
my
sort of-
God. Look, I'm right. Look, there's Hobgrid and there's me.
There you are.
Yeah, Hobgrid, he's the coolest, funniest guys ever to be around. Any lineup, but in Tahiti, they're so brawling. They're just, and it's just so fun. You get the two of them together, and it's the best.
Yeah,
man.
there's endless commentary out there.
I
Right?
love those guys. Are hilarious. Those guys are super hilarious.
And probably just two of the best guys that surf out here too. You think about some historic moments from guys like CJ paddling into some huge ones, and they thrive off it.
Every final, one of them's in every final.
Yeah.
I mean, 9 out of 10 or 8 out of 10, huh?
Oh yeah, for sure. At the moment, we
heavy.
do have Laurie Towner's replay at Kamale. We want to show you this one too. Laurie Towner, he's a guy that just freaks out. He gets happier when the swell like this comes to town.
Look, he's pure casual. Look, style, grace. This guy's got it all.
Look how he corrects himself there. He didn't lean over too much. He's able to make those subtle adjustments. He knows this wave so well. And look at him get down into this bottom part. It's bottoming out there. He goes down.
And over he goes. Look, he's swimming. He's swimming, but it didn't work. And the board went too.
He fell here.
Yeah. Well, you know, he just got pushed into the
Look
lagoon,
at the
basically.
guy. He is he's an epitome, the epitome of a surfer. Like, you know, smiling, happy, ripping, charging, small, tall, big. You know, hats off to Laurie. He's a good guy.
Yeah, every little bump that starts ending towards Teahupoo seems like he gets on a flight and heads out here, and you can see his approach out here. A lot of these guys taking off, they look a little out of control. Laurie's one of the guys that looks like he's completely comfortable as we take a beautiful look on what's behind us, a little bit of tranquility in the midst of one of the bigger swells that's ever come to Tahiti. Those valleys kind of show you how this reef is created, these reef passes. It gets really, really deep. Just outside of this reef, it goes about 150 feet straight down, and then it gets a couple thousand feet deep as you go just a couple of miles out to sea. So the whole ocean just unfolding on this reef. Looks like we could have live action.
This guy does not know how to surf.
Oh, dear.
I will say it.
He's not in a good place if he doesn't know how to surf.
Oh, wow. Are you kidding me? Is he going to come out of this thing?
Not a chance.
No chance at all. That thing just went guttural, spitting everything out, inside out, Kamale.
But I just want to say, I hope all the people in Tahiti, their houses and their family, all right. You know, we're all over here just glorifying and all this, and it's like houses are being washed away, and I just hope all the people in Tahiti are all right, as well as this guy.
Yeah.
But thank you to the people of Teahupoo and Tahiti, and you know, God bless. It wouldn't be possible without these guys.
Well said, Kamale, for sure. All these guys taking a look at this right now. Here's the replay of what just happened. Nick, are you kidding me? Look at this thing unload, going below sea level.
Oh, he just drew a straight line straight into this.
He's got a great line.
Yeah, really a good line, huh?
Yeah.
But that's just not enough.
Not
Situation,
enough.
huh?
Good wording.
Look, as good as a line
Let's
as
see.
you
Let's
could
see.
get.
Let's see if he had the alternate line. There's a little exit.
He might have snivelled out the end there.
No, look,
Yeah.
there's an exit.
Yeah.
Some are just, like, I was watching the webcast, and they were closeouts. Straight. You'd show one angle, and then the beach angle was like, huh? Why? Wow, who was that?
That was insane. So still at this swell peaking. Kamale, when did you first hear about this swell coming, and when did you make the decision to come on over here?
I mean, I must be the luckiest guy in the point because I've been here for 3 weeks, came for the trials. Thanks to Billabong for putting me in the trials. And I leave tonight. So none of this timer, flyer, rich, lucky, whatever, just real lucky.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I was reading Jerry Lopez's book, and they were Derek Dorner was talking about this. How I don't want to, like Mark Fu and the flying over the night before, and Derek was just going into how he likes to go a week or two before and make friends with the families, and and instead of you push these surfers are they're pushing it, and just I like to do the same thing, be there ahead of time. I mean, I love to fly to swells, but I don't know, it's gnarly.
It is gnarly, isn't it? I've got a good friend who flies a bit around the world, and he always says, those few days after you land somewhere, he goes, I'm here, but my spirit's still catching up,
That's a great point. I mean, jet lag, some of these guys are flying from Africa and or whatever, Japan, and like I heard one guy say it was whatever, it was dark where he came from, so that'll spin you out a little.
So the idea they're settling in, getting settled into your environment, especially when you're going to put yourself into a pretty dangerous situation being out there. You have to be completely focused. You have to have a good tow team, a partner on the ski. You have someone who's you really trust whipping you into one and picking the best waves out of the set, Kamale. How hard is that to do?
Well, I got to give thanks to Corey Lopez, got me some waves. Baptiste and Tilan, that's Tilan's Malik's sister, and Baptiste is the one that tows Raymana, and Raymana, he's all right, thank God. But thanks Baptiste for getting me those waves, and Biff for letting me stay at your crazy house. But back to the point. That's the thing with Laurie and Dylan. They've worked together for so long, and you can see the fruits of their whatever labor.
It's all working out here. Well, Kamale, Nick and I have been enjoying this. We have a Phantom camera out here, I think, for the first time, capturing Teahupoo. It goes down to 1,000 frames per second. This is Alejo Muniz on his 9.60.
What a piece of surfing.
These judges had some real bad mix-ups, and this was one of them. This was as good as a ride gets right here.
It was, huh?
Yeah.
Look at that. It just carried it around.
And then comes up under this. Oh, it's just starting. Hello. Yeah, 9. Come on. It doesn't get better than this. Look at this. He almost died twice.
And he holds it just above that little spray foamy thing coming up off the lip.
I like this ride a lot. Hats off to this kid, man. I was like, damn, that was badass. Oh, pardon me.
Came out with complete control, too. But, the big story there, he ended up losing that heat.
Keala, huh?
At some point in that game, but 9.6 from the Phantom Cam. Is this Keala again?
Yeah, that Phantom camera. Go, Block. Yes. Look at the mother.
Let's go. You've got the speed, Keala.
Oh!
Wow. There we go.
Just get a bit of payback from this morning there.
Yeah. Okay, Ala Kennelly is having a blast out there. She wasn't settled with her 8-foot bomb earlier, and now she's just got a couple in a row. She's making our highlight reel really quickly.
There's that Chopo board up with all the winners, and she's got her name on there 3 times, I'm pretty sure. So, hats off. I mean, shit. She's a vet.
Also, when the World Tour event was here, she was on the World Tour back then. I think she won that event more than anyone.
Look at this. That's a line, man. That's a great line.
Didn't she?
In the hole, disappear. Driver's looking at the back. Oh, he's looking at. Who is that, Corey?
Not sure.
Wow.
But she got that line on, and then she just went right and said it. Just went, right, I'm going now.
Great line.
I'm off.
Let's see. That's Corey. That's Dusty Ski with Sean. Who's that?
Who do we
GP? No. Someone's ski's getting towed in. Where?
Oh, it looks like we do have a ski getting towed in right now. But you see these guys sitting way out the back. Which ski is that, Kamale, to the left?
That's Corey. That's Corey with Dusty Ski, and that's Nicola Leatham, local guy.
The red ski out the back. So, at the moment, what are they doing? Are they just taking a break, or are they waiting for a set?
They're cruising. The tide's really getting low, and it's nice out there. The conditions are nice. There's Strider and Fred.
Yeah.
The conditions are nice right now. They're kind of calm, so I think it's really nice. Just the real big ones kind of get super gnarly, but like the smaller, we'll say 10, 12 footers are still so nice. There's a little bit of wind too, you know, it's kind of a little onshore, but I think once the wave just stands, it doesn't really matter. It just makes its own wind.
So here we go out the back, waiting for a solid one to come through. You see the GoPro helmet cam right there because he wants to make sure both hands are free when a set comes so he could hang on to the back of that ski and he could just look at it and capture all those images. We're going to be seeing a lot of these images coming onto billabongpro.com, so be checking for the highlights and all the photos and everything like that, all the Phantom Cam stuff we're going to be piling together for you. It's been a pretty insane show so far, and Kamale, perfect timing, flying in for the trials and staying just in time for this heroic swell.
Yeah, got to thank my wife, Kelly, at home, and mother-in-law, Tristan, and my sponsors, Analog, the best sponsor in the world. Hello.
Making sure that you're here and you're equipped and doing what you do.
Channel Islands, too. The best. Equipped. You said equipped.
Definitely. So great for you being with us here during this live tow session. And we're waiting for these things. We have really long intervals in this swell, Nick. And I guess that's why it's so few and far between, right? Because you've got, talking about what, 18 to 20 second intervals on this thing?
Well, there's a bit of that, but I think also maybe we have actually passed the front of the swell, you know. People talked about, well, you can see there, is that Parker on the channel there?
No.
Mucking around? No.
But you know what? Rostovich got tubed today. Did you see that one?
No.
Early, yeah, Dave he didn't come out, but man, Makula was claiming the whale saved him because he got deep. It was nuts.
Yeah, I know he had to reorganize his schedule. He was supposed to be on the East Coast, and Rostov's like, you know what? I think I'm going to change plans and get out here. We've it's pretty spectacular. Let's take a look at a replay from Dingo. Oh my goodness! Look how huge this thing is.
Now,
look at him get to the bottom.
Is this where Dingo hurt himself?
Yeah.
Oh wow! How steep was that? And how was his control there? He couldn't have done any more there, could he? Really?
It was a bad line.
Yeah.
Some of these waves, they're coming into him, and it's almost to where you're supposed to be borderline coming out of them already.
Yeah.
You know, you want to kind of safety surf it or whatever, get used to it, but it's just like pipe dropping on the shoulder. It's got this exit, and you don't want to be dropping semi in on the exit.
No, you don't want to cross that
out
line
of the exit.
Yeah, you don't want to cross that line there at all. You just want to be on it.
You want to have the perfect line if you can, but that was, I don't know. I hope he broke his ankle, huh?
He may well have broken his ankle.
No, he did. He broke his ankle.
Yeah.
Oh, a tough one there. Seeing him hang on right there. It looked like his board wasn't even in the wave. He had so much speed. He was like body surfing his way on the end of that thing. He had so much momentum. And unfortunately, one of the injuries, we had Raimana. We had the Brazilian guy blow his knee out earlier today.
Yeah.
And so far as injuries and casualties, Kamala, anything to add to that you saw it there?
Bruce Irons lost his shorts.
We got a little recap from that. Luke Egan was in here earlier and saying, his trunks just completely were gone, and the next thing you know, he's getting toured around the channel.
Yeah,
shortless.
He had Kobe driving him around, and that was all it took. Kobe paraded that booty around the park.
He really did. He was in stitches.
Here we go, live action. We have a rider up.
Sean Lopez.
Yep.
Sick.
Same again.
So it looks like the two Goofy Foots, Cal Kennelly, Sean Lopez, the last little bit here of this tow session.
Oh, so that's what I was going to say, pardon me. Kobe towed Dingo in, I think, and I went through this recently. So Dingo was frothing to surf, got hurt first wave, and I did the same thing recently surfing early. I was Super Jones just to surf, but it was 6:30. It was 6 o'clock, 6:30, I got hurt. And the worst part about it was just there was no more surfing to be had, you know?
Yeah.
And so
you go into a dead zone, huh? All that adrenaline's just like...
Well, it's just, you want to just surf, and you get hurt the beginning of this historical day, you know? I don't know, it's gnarly, it sucks.
Yeah, but that's the time when people do typically get hurt in the arrival of a swell, huh? Like this swell, come overnight, started filled fully in the morning. And there were sledgehammer sets coming in here.
At one point, I think at 12 o'clock, it was like, you could see like a swell, like not wave swell, but like a swollen leg. The ocean was going, whoop,
yeah,
whoop. And you, like the morning was low tide, and wonky, and then when that tide and swell hit, it was going. Ooh, it was just like the ocean was swelling.
Yeah.
Like it hit Teahupoo Reef, and wow, man.
Yeah, it was like we're on the edge of a cliff.
It was intense. You can see the faces of the wave as you go throughout the day, and the tide. And if you know the tides and you know the swell when they're gonna hit, the periods and stuff, you see all the faces. You know, you want to.
Yeah, it's a lot of stories are going to come from this swell, and Kamale Alexander sitting with us, Nick Carroll. It's what a memorable day in the middle of a waiting period for an ASP event where you get this live tow session. We hope everybody enjoyed it around the world, wherever you might be, on billabongpro.com. Big thanks to Josh Kerr and Freddie Pataccia, Luke Egan coming in to the booth. Also Sean Doherty was with us before. We're going to wrap up our live tow session right now, but remember, we do have heats going on, possibly as early as tomorrow. The swell is on the decrease, so we could see the world's best back out there for more round 3 action here in Tahiti. So for now, we hope you enjoyed this special presentation of these tow animals going for glory out here on one of the craziest waves in the world. We're going to say goodbye from Tahiti.
I'm smoking, I'm in foaming. That's okay. I got a big white halo hanging over my head, and when I wake up in the morning, separately she's gonna turn around and tell me all the things that I did. So if I tell her that I love her, that ain't so. She's got a red hot body and she's raring to go. I'm ducking, I'm weaving for the dough. She's crazy out in the kitchen, smashing plates on the floor. Ladies, yeah, I need an individual in the phone. You allow with the aim to get it out. Oh, Robin. Ladies, yeah, I need an individual in the phone. If you allow with the aim to get it out. To get back to where we were. Living before. Get back, get it back to where we were. Living, get back to oh yeah, we'll get it back to where living before. Get out, get it back. No, can't stop it now. Wow, baby, why did you leave me alone? Because you got too many issues, sonny. Hang up the phone. Well, certainly I got some. Then to hide, I keep 'em there with my skeleton, searching for life. I gotta come round, drop this off of your pay. You should be charging for dinner and the fact that I hate. But you know, I won't, I do, and I don't. Not never, ever, baby. Never, ever, ever, lady. I need an individual in the phone mouth. Do without it. With the aim to get out. Yes, it does, to get back to
just remember so many visions of him just taking off in the heaviest drops that you're so scared for him, and he just makes them, and then next thing you know, he's just looking all casual in the barrel, just standing straight up. I got a lot of great memories of him just taking off on some beautiful waves out there and just having a great time, just coming out smiling. That's how I remember him in Tahiti.